Man the Half Sports. The James Whale Show on Talk Radio.
And Sue from the University of Leeds. Give my love to the University of Leeds. Thank you very much indeed.
I love to the University of Leeds.
I always like to, I have fond memories of University of Leeds.
So go up to the building tomorrow, shout, James Whale sends his love. At the campus.
Say all the kids.
Yeah.
Is it Justin Bieber?
Just across the road from the University of Leeds, after I finished my radio show in Leeds every night, I would go to the all-night Indian restaurant.
I knew he was going to say a curry house.
Well,
there weren't Indian restaurants in this country back then.
And he would get his taste buds too.
Yeah, it was fish and chips or nothing.
Right,
Yeah.
we're going out, and you're going to nibble my ears and see if it relaxes me, okay?
I could just do it here. We don't need to go out.
What, in front of Ian? It will put
Oh,
him
no,
off his
seen
show.
it.
He
Seen
can
all
nibble
before.
one ear and I'll tickle the other ear
Yeah.
with my ding-dong.
Yeah.
Have you noticed he's had his hair cut?
Yes.
Yeah, you're very smart.
And the hair on my ding-dong.
Are you thinking of joining the army, or it's a sort of very militaristic?
I'm on a top secret mission, and I'm not allowed to provide any information about it. But stay tuned.
If you stay tuned,
I'm going to
you
be
might
Boris
find
Johnson's new political and security advisor.
We all are. We're all going there, yeah.
Except for James.
We're all working there. Yeah, you know, he's asked me to be his military advisor. As you know, Boris and I were going to shoot bows and arrows, and Ash, of course, did a radio show with Boris a few years ago.
Yeah, we're great mates.
I listen to it every day.
We're great mates, yeah.
In the meantime, stand by for Ian Lee.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
The wild man of late night radio, Ian Lee.
Differently interesting nocturnal emissions from a legend of late night radio. On air and off the leash.
The Late Night Alternative with Ian Lee on Talk Radio.
West Coast kid.
Dear listener, 03444991000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. You'd be very, very welcome, Stuart, whenever you want to come in and fix that camera so it's on, Catherine. Shut up, Wix! That would be awesome. 03444991000 is the telephone number. This is the Late Night Alternative. I'm Ian Lee. Who are you?
I'm Catherine Boyle.
And we are joined by Bilal Zafar. Good evening.
Evening.
You're in darkness, man. I feel like we're letting you down slightly here. It's in darkness.
Can I just check? Am I really quiet?
Yes, you are.
Make it work.
There we go.
There we go. Thank you, guys.
Golly gosh. One day. Bilal, you're a comedian.
Yeah.
I invited you in because I liked your humble picture on Twitter.
How is a picture humble?
Look at his Twitter picture. It's humble. I'm aware of you.
Okay.
And then I saw you were following me on Twitter, and as I often do with people, and some people might find this creepy. What I do is I went and had a little click on your bio. So I'm going to check this guy out. I'm going to see what's going on with this guy. And just the picture, have you got his picture there?
Yeah.
It's humble, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
He's sort of smiling.
He's letting someone else have the funny, I think, at this point.
He's smiling, but not arrogantly. And if I remember correctly, he's sort of looking up.
Yeah.
Like
angelic.
that,
cherubic.
which is nice. What?
Cherubic. If you can be cherubic with a beard.
I don't know that word.
I would say cherubic.
No.
Cherubic as in, like a cherub, you know, the little, kind of fat naked babies that fly.
Yeah, and sometimes blow the wind on the old maps.
Fat, naked, flying babies.
That with a beard.
3, 4,
but not
4,
fat.
4. Yeah, they are.
Yeah, but no, rosy cheeked.
Right. I'm going to do this.
Here we go.
Did you say something?
Yes, hello.
Is it this camera? I don't know if it's this camera.
Zip, zip.
Is it this camera? It's this. There we go. What's going on there?
Oh.
This is just mayhem.
Just keep talking, Catherine. You need to talk to activate this.
I am talking to activate this. Anyway, it's a nice picture. I don't know what you're getting at with.
Stuart, stop waving your hands. I can't hear you. Could you fix the camera, please?
Oh, it's
broken. Well, how come I can see her on the screen if I move one of the cameras? I can't hear you. I'm in a semi-soundproof booth. Catherine.
Yes.
One of these is working, right? So don't give me this bollocks. It's this one, the one I was on. Thank you. Dear God, Stuart, go home. I'm driving the show from now on. My word. Bilal.
Yeah.
Welcome.
One day we'll get someone working on the show for more than once, and we'll know what's going on. So you are a comedian.
Yeah.
Why the hell aren't you in Edinburgh at the festival?
I'm having a year off. I've done 3 in a row. And it's
3 years work.
Yeah.
You were saying that, so I did it like 20 years ago, man. It's expensive. And haven't they just put it up, the rents up and everything?
Something's happened with the council or something, and now rent is more expensive than it used to be.
Catherine, this is not just someone who goes to Edinburgh. This is 2016's best newcomer.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah. Oh, nominee. Sorry, I should say.
I
don't mind. Sometimes people get it wrong on stuff, and I don't correct.
You don't correct?
No, don't. Why would you?
Okay. Corrected me though. And just in case those were wondering if this was going to be the Pakistan military gentleman Bilal Zafar, I'm afraid it's not. He's a tough guy.
Yeah, I think he's some sort of war hero who was fighting the Taliban.
Wow.
And I think he was killed, and he pops up in my, what's it called when Google emails you? Google Alerts.
Have you got Google Alerts for you?
Oh, yeah.
It's, I did for a long time, then I stopped.
Yeah.
And then I've started again, because it's not quite as cutting. But do you get nice stuff coming through, or?
Yeah, it's just random little bits. It's mainly, there's a guy now, I guess it's quite a popular name in Pakistan. There's a guy who, I think he's head of the police or something in Pakistan, so I just keep getting emails about the amount of people they've arrested in a month. It's weird that that's an article.
So are your family at some point grandparents from Pakistan?
Yeah, my parents are from Pakistan.
Whereabouts in Pakistan?
Near Rawalpindi.
I don't know where I've only been to Karachi and Lahore. Have you ever been?
I've only been a couple of times.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's hot, man.
Yeah.
It's too hot.
I think it was like nearly 50 degrees one day when I was there.
When I was there, we were only there like March to May, so it's before it got really hot. But you'd be stood there at 7 in the morning, just stood there. And the sweat was just coming down. And you think, my God, this is 7 o'clock in the morning. What is it going to be like at 2 o'clock in the afternoon?
Yeah.
It's, I love Pakistan. I want to go back again. When it feels a little bit safer. Maybe it feels a little bit bubbly at the moment, shall we say? It feels like a little bit of a bubbly country, but I loved it there, and the food is incredible, and the people were amazing, but the heat, man, that's just outrageous. Well, listen, it's nice to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Why did you follow me on Twitter, if I may ask?
I can't remember. I've known about you, I think, forever, because I've got 2 older brothers.
Yeah.
So they were teenagers when I was little.
Wow.
So I kind of know a lot of comedy stuff.
From the olden days.
From when I was, well, yeah, but good stuff.
Nice recovery.
No, but it is, it's all good, isn't it, from that time?
It's all good. Well, some of it doesn't quite stand up so well
No,
these
but
days.
in my opinion, that was the best stuff came from.
And I saw, I read somewhere, probably on your website, I think maybe Chris Morris. Big fan of Chris.
Oh yeah,
Chris Morris.
I liked his radio show a lot. Remember the sketch show he had, Blue Jam. That's what kind of made me feel like I'd like to try comedy.
That was on Radio 1 as well, wasn't it? That was nuts, like a surreal, psychedelic. It was beautiful. I remember we'd all passed bootleg tapes of it around at college and stuff. But that was on Radio 1. Imagine Scott Mills doing something like that. I mean, it's someone else's idea, so there's a chance that he might do. But, so that was what made you want to get into comedy, was it?
Yeah, I listened to that, I think, when I was like 15 or something. I got hot. Because, there's Chris Morris is a huge cult thing online, especially, and then I thought, I'd love to write comedy. That was like my dream, to write comedy and be like Armando Iannucci or whoever. So I went to uni to do script writing and stuff. And then I realised this isn't a thing you can just get a job in at all. And then I just tried stand-up at uni one day, and I've kept doing it for 5 years, almost 6 years, I think.
I did stand-up for a while, but stand-up for me was always a means to an end. I didn't really want to be, I wanted to be an actor. We talked about acting before we came in. I wanted to be an actor, but I couldn't get any acting work, and I'd done a bit of stand-up as part of the college course, so I did stand-up because it was a way to get on stage and a way to perform and
did you enjoy it?
Oh, did I enjoy it? Do you know what? I look back on the 22, 23-year-old kid that I was doing it. I can't believe I did it. Because my routine was very poor. There was loads of stolen stuff in it, and it was really poor. And the nights that it worked were the nights where I would just kind of go wild on the stage and just let the spirits guide me, and it would go wherever. But I didn't have the confidence to do that every night. So like maybe 2 in 10 would be majestic. I don't forget, I did one gig at a university. I was the opening spot. I think it was 20, maybe it was 10-minute spot. I don't know. And my set was 10 minutes long if people laughed.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And it was just silence. And I think maybe it was a 20-minute slot, actually, and it was 15 minutes if people laughed. And I thought, well, maybe I can fudge the other 5 minutes. And I did it all in 6 minutes because it was just met with silence.
Wow.
And I just walked off. And it was so short that the compere wasn't there. The compere was upstairs having a drink. And I walked off and no one came on, so I walked off to silence.
Oh.
No one came on. I walked out of the hall in silence. I went up to the green room and the guy went, oh shit. And he ran down and I didn't collect my money. I just got in the car and I just went home and thought, wow, man. So the fact that I'm telling you those stories means no, I probably didn't enjoy it. I had great moments.
Yeah.
I met some really good friends. I'm probably doing this as a direct result of everything I learned while I was doing that. But I didn't enjoy it. It's a real lonesome warrior thing, standing there on your own with a microphone for 20 minutes or an hour or whatever it is you're doing.
But when it goes well, it's like the best thing ever.
It's magic, yeah.
Like it really is. And I do a lot of, I end up kind of improvising. I was just in the Isle of Wight for a few nights doing some gigs. And one of them was I was doing an hour, like a work in progressy thing, just random bits.
Yeah.
And a lot of it ended up being improvising. And it was so fun.
You've got to have the balls, you've got to have the confidence, you've got to have the confidence to be able to go with it. And I didn't. I mean, I did stand up for not long, 2 or 3 years, and I didn't have the confidence. I think what me and Kath do now is sort of the equivalent of improvising. You know, these are my notes. This is my notes for the show. I'm holding up an almost blank, huge piece of paper. And this is, it's kind of improvising. And if we get a call, we've got Alan in a minute, we'll come to you in a second now. If we get a call that takes us off on a tangent, then we'll improvise and stuff. But you enjoy it.
Yeah, it's really fun when it
works.
Yeah, exactly.
Worst gig?
Let me think. I've done some. I think the worst ones for me now is if you're doing an hour and then not enjoying it.
Yeah.
Swindon
Arts Centre.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was one there where it just felt like they hated me from this, and it was weird because they'd all paid to see it was a tour show.
Racist.
That's my last year. Maybe
they were racist, very racist. Swindon.
But that's the thing. I got a thing in my head. I started thinking that because it was a totally white audience.
Yeah.
I started thinking maybe if it's all white people, it doesn't go that well. But then a couple of weeks later, I did the pool Lighthouse, I think it's called, near in Dorset.
Okay. Yeah,
Dorset, and it was all white people there, and it was like one of my best shows ever.
Yeah.
So you can never really.
Sometimes it just goes that way. Swindon Arts Centre's a strange old. That's where we saw XTC play.
Yeah, the weird one is when the audience seems quite restrained, or that they're not enjoying themselves, and afterwards they're all coming up saying they loved it. I could never work that one out. You think, are you all just being nice, or am I reading the room completely wrong?
I think it's when it's like an art centre where they're used to seeing theatre.
Yeah.
And
they're being respectful.
Yeah. And really quiet, and then you feel horrible, and they all want a photo with you and stuff, and to sign their tickets. That's a weird one, but yeah.
Well, it would be weird for you, because you're a young man. What are you, 26, 27? 27, right? Me and Kath are old. And, of course, when we were young, 10, 15, 20, whatever, signing was the thing, because it wasn't selfies. You didn't have, no one had phones You didn't carry a camera around with you. So it's getting something signed. We had to sign something at the weekend. We did a show in Belfast. I think we signed 2 things, and it feels such an old-fashioned concept.
But don't selfies feel weird to you?
Selfies feel weird, but I have now got the knack. We always meet everyone after the show. I always think if someone's going to give us some money, then at least I can do is shake your hand and say thank you. So we always meet people after the show, and for the first few shows, we would kind of stand awkwardly there, and people would kind of awkwardly come up. And now I've just developed the knack of sucking it up and going, right, if you want a picture, we're going to form a queue here. Right, you're first, madam. What's your... So nice to see you. Do you want a selfie with us? And it feels arrogant and it feels weird, but if you
actually I think everyone's relieved, because otherwise you have a 20-minute conversation with someone who really wants a picture but doesn't dare say it, and other people kind of shuffling about in the shadows wanting the same thing. And if you say, right, I'm up for this now, then people, you've broken the ice.
I wouldn't say, do you want a selfie with me?
Right.
It feels like a risk.
It's a punt. It's a punt. And
maybe you should offer to have selfies with them. I really want a selfie with you.
A couple of times people said, no, I just want to come and say hello. It's like,
really?
But you know what? Here's the thing I'm learning at 46, and maybe you've got it, or maybe you'll get there a lot earlier than me, is just, I've just got no shame. I'm working on getting rid of all shame. That's what I'm working on, and it's getting rid of all shame. And most of it is gone. There's still some of it. And I think, personally, to be, let's go there, to be, a true performer, you've got to be free of shame and embarrassment and be able to do anything, and saying, do you want it, guys, do you want a selfie? Do you want a selfie? Do you want me?
Yeah, but it's very different off stage, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like I can have a great show, then I just feel very shy sometimes after,
So Chris Morris at the time, who I just adored. I was accused, and I probably did early in my career ripping him off. The 11 o'clock show was a rip-off of
lots of
Chris
people
Morris.
probably tried ripping.
Yeah, and they told me they wanted me to be like Chris Morris, so I did the intonation and everything. And I was at a do once, a Channel 4 do, and Chris Morris was at the bar, and I was with a guy called Andrew Newman, I think I was with, who was commissioner at Channel 4. He works at BAFTA, I think now. And he said, do you want me to go and introduce you? And I went, nah, I can't do it. He'll hate me. It will be weird, so no. So that was my one chance. What is he doing now?
Well, I think he's making a new film, because he did 4 Lions, didn't he? And I think he's working on a new one.
Okay.
Which is probably out next year. So I guess that's his thing now.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. Paul Garner is good friends with, our friend Paul Garner, who's a writer, is good friends with, Chris Morris. He used to do, in fact, you probably heard him then. My friend Paul Garner would do I don't think this was on Blue Jam, but this was on perhaps his other show. You know, the airport announcements?
Yeah.
Where he'd say, right, we've got Paul is out at the Heathrow Airport, Heidi drugs quick. That was my friend Paul that would go out and do all of those things. Maybe we'll see if we can find some of those in a bit. Dear listener, Bilal is here, and he's just going to sit in with us for the first hour, and we're going to find out what he's up to, and we'll plug all the websites and all of the usual. We'll do all of that. But the show carries on as normal. If we've got Alan Caddick calling in, we'll go to him in a second. If you want to give us a call about comedy or about there's loads of stuff to talk about, actually. Alexa has been listening to people having sex. Dirty Alexa. 0344 499 1000. You speak to Stuart, he will take your name and number, and we'll give you a call straight back. This is the Late Night Alternative, weeknights from 10 with Iain and Kath on Talk Radio.
No rules nocturnal nattering for nightbirds, nurses, and Nosferatu.
Right, cool.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
0444991,000. Right, let's take some calls, shall we, guys? And you can speak to Bilal. You can phone in about anything. Alexa, listening to sex. You guys are about to be proven wrong about Mars.
What guys?
You.
Oh, the scientists.
No, you're not a scientist. Shut up, man.
Oh yeah, but I'm in their gang.
But I have a controversial theory that I'd like to share with you because you look like you're open-minded. I believe, it is my belief that Alan and Susan will come to you in a second. That human beings come. No, my boys asked the other day who was the first human, right? And this is a pivotal moment. I could have talked to them about Adam and Eve.
Adam and Steve.
I could have talked to them about evolution. I didn't.
Yeah.
I said, well, the first humans lived on Mars. My boys are 7 and 9. They are up for this kind of stuff. I said, well, thanks for asking me, son. The first humans lived on Mars millions of years ago, and then something happened, and I don't know what. I don't have all the answers. There was maybe a war or a huge natural disaster.
Here's the thing, Bilal. No one wrote anything down, so there's no proof of it. Because obviously, if you're going to vacate your planet, you come with nothing, don't you?
And some had to escape. The very wealthy, the elite, had to escape.
This amazing...
Please, will you shut up?
An amazing craft that... No instructions.
I'm gonna prove you wrong again in a minute. Right? So they basically, we come from Mars. Where are you going?
I'm gonna just make you slightly less massive than this.
Alright, so we came from Mars, okay, after a huge global war or massive ecological...
You're a Scientologist?
Sorry?
Are you a Scientologist?
No, is that what they believe?
It might be. Something like that. I'm not sure.
Have you done the
test?
The test in Tonker Road?
No, I've been given you get a cinema ticket, don't you? They give you a cinema ticket.
But is it to go and see a Scientology film?
Yeah.
Or is it to go and see the latest Tom Cruise? Because I'd be up for that. I'm a big fan of Tom Cruise. I so many times This is a turning point in our lives. So me and Catherine in Belfast at the weekend, and we're walking back from our show at the Black Box, and it's about 11:30 midnight on Saturday night, and we're walking past a bar, and there's you get these people, young woman outside the bar was trying to get people into the bar, right? So there's some lads in front of us. Guys, do you want to come in and get a drink? And and then she saw us, she took a step towards us, and then just looked and walked away. And I went, she thinks we're too old to be invited into a bar.
No. Also, yeah.
Admittedly, I don't drink anymore, but boy, back in the day, I'd have drunk that bar dry.
Outrageous.
Incredible.
I used to, when I had a day job, I was wearing a suit once, and I wasn't given a flyer when all these other people my age were.
Racist.
So I know what it's like. That could have been it.
It's racist. Just every time say it's racist. Say it's racist. I've upset so many racists online. I think you responded to some of them by calling out their racist leaders as racists. And who would have thought that racists could be so easily triggered?
Very touchy, aren't they?
Very, very touchy.
I didn't even mention them, and they all came running.
Didn't mention them or Brexit, and I'm a nonce. They're laughing at my divorce. No wonder your wife left you. Shoved some more cocaine up your nose, you nonce. A lot of noncing.
At least you're not a racist.
Well, I'm going to say it, Catherine. I think being a paedophile, I'm going to say it, is a little bit worse than being a racist. I mean, a racist paedophile. No, we're talking. Let's move on from that, because that's very, very uncomfortable. Let's go back. Scientology. So I think we come from Mars, and then we crash landed here. Now, Catherine says, well, what about, why haven't we got any of the space technology? And I said, well, let's say it was a billion years ago.
Yeah.
Today, on my Twitch stream, I was trying to get a BBC microcomputer from 1982 to work, right?
Yeah.
That isn't even 50 years old, right? 40 odd years old. 40 years old. I can't do the maths. And I couldn't get that to work. That is 40 years old. You want stuff from a billion years ago?
Yeah, I think if it's central to the escape of a civilization, you might keep, the odd bits and bobs.
Actually, I can prove you wrong again, because the phrase is bibs and bobs. It's not bits and bobs.
Okay.
Did you know that? Yeah, it's bibs and bobs.
I've never heard bibs and bobs.
And it's also minefield. And it's another think coming.
No.
Yes, it is, actually. It is.
You can, but I think it does set you apart as an idiot.
You've got another think coming. That's the actual phrase. Sorry, I feel like you've just walked into our marital, we're not married, but kind of our marital breakdown. This is like Iain and Kath, the divorcees.
That's okay.
You sure you can deal with that?
Yeah. Do you think they'll dig up an old dinosaur and
He
it'll
thinks it's
have
going to be a toaster.
a space costume on or something?
Taking the piss?
No?
Okay. Dinosaur with a space costume.
Something
Yeah, but
from space.
But you do think there's microwaves on Mars, so cut him some slack.
I think, and I'm not going to cut him slack for dinosaur in a space costume. That is disrespectful. I thought I was going to get on with this young man. He's about to be muted. I do think that the rover moonlander on Mars, that it either has already, or I think we're going to go live one day to NASA. We're going to go live to Mars. We're going to have amazing footage of the rover moonlander digging on Mars, and you're going to see the rover digging, and they're going to go, oh my God, but there's something. What is that? That's, oh my God, it's an original Walkman with the orange headphones, and they're going to find like old Earth technology up there. That's what I think. Dinosaur in spacesuit. Good evening, Alan.
Hi, Mark. Gaff.
Hey.
Hello, Alan. We got Bilal here. You like comedy, don't you?
Yeah. First thing first. Did you go to the doctor today?
No. Was I supposed to go to the doctors today?
I thought you were going to have a test for your bowel cancer.
No. Right. I am supposed to have colonoscopy, but that is supposed to be, they wanted to do it on the 19th of April, but then I've just remembered I'm doing something then that I need my bum for, so I've got to phone them up tomorrow and change the date. So that's not for a few weeks yet, Alan.
Right, I'm getting my dates mixed up.
You are getting your dates mixed up.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Well, okay. Do you know any jokes you can tell us?
Well, I've got a question, guest actually.
Okay, his name is Bilal.
Bill?
Hi.
What was the first joke you ever heard?
Say that again, sorry?
What was the first joke you ever heard?
Oh, God.
Even he's got the same contempt for Alan that we have.
No, I didn't mean to. I don't know. Something as a child. What are like old jokes? Oh, I did find there was a thing that Steve Coogan did.
Oh yeah.
Where he acted out the Eurovision Song Contest.
Oh, I don't remember that.
And he did a weird song, and I used to cry.
Tony Farino.
Yes.
Yes. Tony Farino. What was the song? Because he did a Tony Farino special. Taxi. Oh. I know exactly what it was.
Didn't he release a single? Didn't he release Help Yourself?
Hang on a minute. He did. I had the album. I went to the taping of that show. I'm going to play it for you. I know exactly the song you mean.
I remember seeing that when I was very little and really loving it.
Here we go. This is the song that you are referring to. Yes. Papa Bendy.
Quiero que este rupo sea lento pasa da pero la vada quando estarà pronta.
Well, isn't this a world we live in? His first joke, we can play it straight back to him without any prep. Here we go.
Bendy, thank you very much.
I think Tony Farino, thank you, Alan. I think Tony Farino is one of the great overlooked comedy characters. I loved it, and it flopped miserably. So I went to the recording of it, and I remember they showed it over 2 nights. The first night they showed the special, then the second night they showed Tony Farino being interviewed by the Welsh guy that wrote the reboot of Arthur. He was in a lot of the day-to-day Bainham, Peter Bainham. Yeah. Peter Bainham, and it flopped terribly. Awful, but I loved it.
Didn't we used to play one of the songs about Tony Farino, something about other womenmes' wives?
He steals other men's wives, ruining other men's lives.
He parks in other men's drives.
That's good. Let's go to Susan. Let's see what Susan has for us. Good evening, Susan.
Good evening, my lovelies. Good evening, Ian. Good evening, Catherine. Good evening, Bilal.
Good evening.
Well done. Got us all.
It's such the right tone of voice for this job, man. You got to fill in for me one day.
Is Bilal as handsome as he sounds? Is he a handsome, raven-haired gentleman from Pakistan with beautiful brown eyes?
Well, he's from Great Britain. Raven-haired makes me think of red hair.
No, it's black.
No, raven. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you.
What did you think it? I thought it meant red. Hang on a minute, Susan, be quiet, we're talking.
When have you ever seen a red raven, you weirdo?
I don't know why.
I was thinking of kites.
Yes, Susan! Is Bilal handsome?
Yeah.
Really?
But he's young enough to be your grandson, you dirty old mare. Keep your hands off. That's child abuse.
No, I didn't mean it like that. But Bilal, I can tell you that lots of white girls would love you.
Oh my God, Susan.
They do.
This isn't Tinder FM.
Okay, thanks very much, Susan. I'm so sorry for that. I'm sorry that a lot of our callers are old and racist. A lot of white girls.
It's okay.
White girls would like you, and I bet your babies will be beautiful. Oh, beautiful babies. That's what they used to say. Oh, beautiful babies. I don't really approve, but beautiful babies. I'm so sorry, man. 0344 499 1000. Let's take a break and just cleanse ourselves from that casual racism. This is Talk Radio.
Late night conversation, wealth, losing sleep over. The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. You were just filling in, Bilal, on Susan's backstory. I use that term, decidedly. I don't believe a word of it. I don't believe any of it. I think it's all bullshine. It's a
very elaborate story if it's bullshine.
Yeah, but
very romantic, sexy story.
Yeah. You just said something that was interesting about we're talking about what Susan's rather clunky, casually racist thing. I don't think she meant it, but maybe it's slightly uncomfortable. But then you said that some white people do see brown people, whatever that may mean, as a fetish.
Little bit. I know that a lot of black comedians that I'm friends with have had weird propositions. Like, I know that a black comedian, I know a guy, he got a white couple wanted to pay him for like an evening of dinner and other stuff.
Jokes?
No. Because he was black. And they were white because he was black.
God,
yeah.
Here's the thing, I get that we all have types. I get that we have types. But if you're treating a black person or an Asian person the same as having a cucumber shoved up your bum.
Oh my God.
Do you know what I mean? If you're treating it as, I wouldn't marry an Asian guy, but I'd love to be locked in a hotel room with him for one night. That's a weird old thing. I know that members of the I'm just trampling across all this in huge hobnail boots, so let's just carry on. I'm going to offend somebody, so I might as well go for it. But I know that members of the trans community are often upset at how trans women are seen as a fetish. I wouldn't want to go out with a trans woman, but my God, I'll certainly pay for an hour in her company. And it must be odd, there's not really a fetish for middle-aged divorced dads or old women, Catherine. So
it probably is.
There is. If you can think of it, someone gets off on it, as you always say. So there is hope for you yet, Iain.
I've had white women that are a few times that are obsessed with Bollywood.
Oh, okay.
Get in touch with me, but it's I'm not Indian and I'm not into Bollywood at all. It's a bit weird.
But you're brown.
Yeah.
So could you pretend to be Indian for me, please?
Oh, maybe that's what they. Okay, yeah.
It's a funny old world. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. We'll talk to her after 11. I think we'll talk to her after 11. So you're not doing Edinburgh. No. I don't think we established on air why you're not doing Edinburgh.
Just need a break. Very expensive. Yeah. It's also I had my first year. I had got the nomination thing, which was great.
Yeah.
And I had all these reviewers, all the big Times, Guardian, whatever, saying can't wait to see what he does next. Then I went back the next year and none of them came.
Right.
And it's expensive for PR. It's a couple of grand for reviews, basically. And then sometimes they just don't turn up. It's just it's been very intense for me for the last few years.
What is the point of Edinburgh now? Because when I did it 23 years ago, it was, and people then 22 years ago were saying, well, the Fringe has really become there's too much going on, too many comics, too many comedians. But now, it's even bigger than that. And the point was, you'd get seen by a TV producer and you would get a part in a sitcom or you might get a sketch show. That was it. That was what it was aimed for. But
it's
what
kind
is the
of
point
same
now?
I think. Same sort of thing.
Yeah.
Get buzz around you, that sort of thing. It's all producers come and see you all month. Because there's people that are more, I'm just stand-up, but there's sketch people that do 5 or 6 different characters. And they're just showing what they can do, can't they?
Yeah.
As an actor.
Oh, it's a big showcase.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think it's,
I saw Mark Watson did a nice tweet today about Edinburgh, that he's going, for the umpteenth year, but he is up for people who were in the same position as him or as he was when he was younger, and they want to chat things through, because he said it can be flipping tough out there.
Do you go up there on your own? Do you ever you're with Avalon, who look after their acts?
Sort of, mostly.
Okay, I'll tell them all.
They do.
But do you go up, do you have a rep that's up there with you that's keeping an eye on
Yeah, my agent is there and she helps out and stuff.
Okay, and
nice.
Are you staying with her? Do you stay on your own when it happens?
I usually stay on my own, or I get an Airbnb with randoms, just because it's a little bit intense. That's alright, they can be okay. If I've got an ensuite room, that's fine. It can be, there's people that sometimes take it very seriously and talk about their reviews and all of that all the time.
So you don't stay with other comics?
No, I haven't.
Oh, no, that's good.
The first time I went up, I stayed with a lady. I didn't know any of this one before I went, but she was a spiritual healer. Yes, it turns out.
Yes.
And my room that I stayed in was a healing room, so I wasn't allowed to use any sprays, because that affects I don't know.
Wow, the vibes.
I don't know.
So you couldn't use deodorant?
No, but I use a roll-on anyway.
Okay, fair enough. Fair play.
Okay.
Saving the planet. The house you were staying in belonged to a healer? Or
and she had a spare room.
That's a strange rule to put in the Airbnb. Yes, no sprays.
Yeah.
No sprays. What was it? There was a story, wasn't there, a few weeks ago of the rules in the Airbnb that men had to sit down if they were having a pee. Really strict. Don't mess with my flat, guys.
Almost the point where you think, do you really want people over? Because this doesn't sound very welcoming.
I did Edinburgh I did it a couple of times, and I did it once as a contestant on the So You Think You're Funny thing, and I got to the final. I was in the final.
Oh, nice.
The year it was won by Tommy Tiernan. So it was a good, it was a good, and I followed, the rule was, again, this is when I only had 15 minutes material, the rule was, in the first heat you could do anything you wanted, in the semis you had to do 10 minutes, and then in the finals you couldn't repeat the 10 minutes you'd done. I didn't have any more material. Of course I should have just done the same 10 minutes. So I wrote new stuff and did my weakest stuff that I had left over, and I died terribly. It was awful. But to go back up for the final, I didn't have enough money to rent anywhere. So, I got a coach up there, the megabus up there, and I camped. I camped about 5 miles out of Edinburgh. It was awful. It's the worst experience of my life, man. Maybe you should do that, is what I'm saying.
Why didn't you stay on someone's sofa or something?
After a couple of nights, I bumped into a friend, and he said, come and stay on my sofa. And I was like, you sure? He said, yeah, it was Mackenzie. And I did, but I had 2 or 3 nights in this tent.
So you didn't have Facebook then?
No.
Which is what everyone does.
I didn't have a mobile phone then.
No.
I didn't have a mobile phone. What world?
I couldn't survive. I don't know how you...
Life is better without it.
I think about, I use my maps to get everywhere. Google Maps. I'm so stupid.
You used to have to print off directions.
No.
This is it, we're thick. Yeah. We're all thick now because I would use maps when I'm driving all the time. Whereas before, you'd have to work out how to get somewhere, and then because you'd thought about it and read a map and you'd know the way back. But because you're being an idiot and just looking at that, you drive somewhere and don't take in any of the stuff that you see, and you just don't learn anything.
But then the next progression was like AA route maps, where it would give you like a 1 to 25 step instructions. But you miss one, you're screwed.
I was in Mackie D's drive-through the other day, and the guy in the car next to me, he had a big AA map book, an atlas.
An atlas, yeah.
An atlas, and he was planning his route on an atlas.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have survived as a caveman.
No.
Walked straight off a cliff.
Oh.
Can you do anything? Can you do anything apart from tell jokes? Got any practical skills?
Not really, because I've got a media degree, so I can do temp jobs, which luckily I don't have to anymore.
Yeah. Worst job you had?
Well, I was a care worker for about a year.
Oh my gosh, okay. Yeah. With elderly people?
Yes.
Okay, how did that go?
Well, it's weird because I was happy, I didn't mind doing the job that much, but it was the company that I hated. They were a big American company, which are everywhere now.
Yeah.
I found out that some people were paying around 10 grand a month to stay there.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I was one of the carers, and I'd just come out of uni with a media degree, which kind of tells you why there's so much abuse and stuff in care homes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You can literally be anyone, Totally. I wasn't a nurse or anything. there was other just weird stuff that I hated, like we used to waste loads of food.
Yeah.
I guess that's loads of places. There was a thing where so some people would come and stay on respite, so they'd stay for like 2 weeks after an operation. If me as a carer, if I was to convince them to stay for the rest of their life, we'd all get a go-karting trip.
What?
Yeah.
That's the best thing I've ever heard. My mum's in care because she's got MS and stuff, but
it wasn't because of a particularly convincing care worker.
They did, as I said. Okay, fine then. They did all grab helmets and run off, whooping and cheering.
I don't know if that's the case everywhere.
No, but yeah, that is amazing.
And I was at minimum wage £6.50 at the time.
Yeah.
A few years ago.
Oh, they get paid terribly.
Yeah,
They're treated awfully.
And you really get worked hard, you know, because you'd be doing the care stuff. Then you have to bring them to the dining area, and I had to serve the food.
Yeah.
And a lot of them have got dementia, so they think I'm a waiter suddenly, and they start being rude to you, you know. Yeah. It's interesting.
I bet there was a bit of racism going on there as well with it, because my granddad was such a lovely soul, and then when he got dementia became incredibly racist, you know,
do you think it was hidden?
Well, this is the thing. Was it hidden? I've thought about this a lot. Possibly, but the fact that he chose to hide it means he must have recognised
that it was the wrong thing to say.
That it was an issue. That he chose to hide it when he was well, and I have to kind of give him the credit.
So he would have loved the populism and stuff.
Yeah,
he would have spoken his mind. He would have tweeted a lot.
A lot of my family are very, very pro Tommy Robinson, but that's by the by. We'll take a quick break, and then we've got Brian on the line. 0344 499 1000. This is Talk Radio.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee. Unfiltered Night Talk with the original king of unconventional conversation on Talk Radio.
Evening, dear listener. Iain Lee, Catherine Boyle, Bilal Zafar is here. What's it, Twitter?
Yeah.
Twitter?
Oh, Zafar Cakes.
And is it 1F, 2Fs?
1F.
Zafar Cakes.
Yeah.
Website?
BilalZafarComedy.com.
Oh, comedy!
Yeah.
You've gone straight in there.
It was taken.
By the soldier?
Someone else. I don't know.
Or the chief of police?
Maybe. Someone.
Scumbag.
Annoyingly.
Who is this scumbag? Ben Chod. Bilal is here until 11, and then at 11,
yeah.
Who have we got on?
We've got Roger,
Roger's coming on.
Yeah, Roger. What was his name? Because you kept
I don't know, Catherine.
Yesterday.
Don't just say out loud what is his name. We could have covered that.
Shh, I'm saying his real name.
We could have covered that.
Roger Spurr, not Roger Spurt.
Roger Spurr is coming on, and he believes...
He believes that Stonehenge and many other monoliths across the great globe of ours were actually...
Great globe of ours, you absolute idiot.
Are actually the remains of biblical giants.
How tall are you, Bilal?
5'9".
I'm sorry, man. We saw an actual giant in Belfast. This guy was like 7'1" at least.
Yeah.
I get very, because I'm 6'4", and 6'4" now actually isn't that tall. But in my teens and my 20s, I was tall. I was tall and lanky and would tower above most people. But if I see someone who is significantly taller than me, I get very excited, and I generally ask Kath to take a picture of me sort of stood behind them so that but this guy, it was...
You were up to his shoulder.
It was incredible. It was incredible. I felt so insignificant.
Yeah.
In the great scheme of things. Brian is on the line. Good evening, Brian.
Oh, great. Hi, everybody.
Hello, Brian. Hello, everybody. Hello, Mum.
Yeah, what it was, I was going to say, I mean, I never used to be into comedy that much until I went to a few comedy clubs in the local area.
Oh.
And I got really into the comedy scene. I quite like it now. So my favourite comics from the north are obviously are like Jason Cook, Stephen Petty, and obviously the last from South Shields. Her name's just gone in my head.
Sarah Milligan.
Sarah Milligan talks like that.
She follows me on Twitter.
She's very nice.
Yeah, have you met her?
Yeah, she's really nice.
I bet she's
very
lovely.
Supportive.
Yeah, I bet she's lovely. I bet she's one of those people, because sometimes these people that are nice on telly, you meet them. Oh
I know, yeah.
A-holes.
She used to work in the cinema, you know, selling ice creams before she came into comedy.
Did she?
Work in a picture hall selling ice creams.
Well done, Brian, for calling it a picture house. I call it the pictures, but picture house is the proper term. I miss, Brian, and this will mean nothing to Bilal and to the kids listening, I miss the interval.
Oh, yeah, the interval, yeah.
Okay.
Well, The pictures, I mean.
Yeah, yes, of course. Where else?
Oh, no, exactly. And the woman used to go with the torches or torches to throw you out the pictures.
Yeah. No one has torches anymore, or flashlights, as the Americans call them. Flashlights. I do apologise. Brian, thank you very much. Oh, no, go on. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, I tell you what, I'm not keen on, and I've never really understood why people find him quite funny. I've never been a big fan of Roy Chubby Brown. I think he's like a bit vulgar, like, you know. I can't see why that can be quite humorous. I don't
like vulgarity. I don't like sexual references. I don't like swear words. Is any of this in your app, Bilal?
No.
Excellent. Then I like you. Thank you very much indeed. Brian, I appreciate that. The big thing in the early 90s, was comedians would get a good old show in Edinburgh, like the sort of mid-tier to top-tier comedians would get a good show, Edinburgh, work it out, and then, in fact, it was Avalon that would do it, would then release it on VHS, or later DVD. That was the big old thing. That, of course, is now dead. The Christmas DVD market used to love that Christmas. You get Stuart Lee and Harry Hill.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that?
Stocking fillers.
That's Boxing Day sorted with what, Mum, can I put on my Harry Hill? Oh, if you have to, I think he's rubbish. But go after.
Netflix now.
Netflix specials. When will I log in to my friend's account that I'm borrowing and be able to see you on there?
2 years.
Is that happening?
No.
Oh. You must be the only... Because everyone's had, you know, I'm expecting a phone call from Netflix saying we've kind of used everybody.
Not British comedians, really.
Really?
Not that many. Only the top ones that get stuff.
I suppose it is.
Yeah,
I suppose
to be honest, there's not that many opportunities for British comedians at the moment, because you've got panel shows.
Yeah.
A couple of stand-up shows.
Have you done any of the panel shows?
No, I've had read-throughs. Have you ever done a panel show read-through?
I've done an office.
Yeah, that's it.
Office thing. Yeah.
I don't know. I've had a few of those. It's not not very good.
I've never had the call back either. You do it in an office. They go through a show in an office in front of like 6-7 people, and
and they don't laugh.
No. And then they go, well, Bilal, that was really enjoyed that. Thank you very much. We'll certainly be in touch, won't we? Yeah.
And then they're not.
I apparently nearly got the Cats Does Countdown one, which would have been cool.
No, I've never seen that, but I don't get the concept.
It's funny.
Of that. Well, how is it?
Playing Countdown and doing jokes.
Yeah.
I did 8 out of 10 Cats twice.
I had a read through for that.
Yeah. Worst night of my life. First one.
To be honest,
horrible.
It's not something I want to do. It's a bit weird because when I got into comedy, like Chris Morris and Armando Iannucci's stuff, I thought, if I'm good at comedy, they will let me make stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's
not many chances. I did a few panel shows back in the day. I Think It's All Over, and I did 8 out of 10 Cats, and it was just, I can't, and I know a lot of this stuff is kind of written anyway, but I can't think like that. And also, I'm not very assertive, and those things, it was at the time, it probably still is, it was a dick measuring contest. It was basically who could be the loudest and who could do and also part of the trick is, you talk for as long as you can until something hits. You know, you could be talking for 3 or 4 minutes and the first 3 or 4 gags might not work, but you just keep, because you've got to have faith. You'll get to the gag and the laugh and they'll cut around it and they'll put the gag in. And I'd do a gag and it would die and I'd just go...
Yeah, that happened to me in one of the read-throughs. Yeah. But the first thing I said didn't go very well and then I just lost confidence.
It's horrible, isn't it? Yeah. What else is there? There's, I suppose, does Live at the Apollo, does that still...
It's still going, but it's very difficult, you know, to get near that.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, what's happened with me is, over the last 3 years, I do well with my solo shows and stuff, but I don't want to be on TV. But the majority of stuff I get asked to do, or meetings for, is around being Muslim, or... Asian, and it's not really.
What do you mean around being Muslim?
So, like, for example, the second show I did in Edinburgh was all about dating.
Right.
Online dating, and part of it was about using Muslim dating apps and comparing them to, you know, Bumble or whatever.
Okay.
And I got some nice stuff. I got to do it for Radio 4 and stuff like that. And, yeah. But
you were seen as a Muslim who happened to be funny, as opposed to a comedian who happens to be Muslim. Is that
massively?
Right.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try and focus on making my own stuff. Now, basically.
You can convert to a proper religion. That's a joke, guys! It's a joke! Sorry.
Wow.
It's
like he's back in the care home.
I'm just, because I know we've got a lot of racists listening, I'm just playing to my crowd.
Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it, how for a while I got seen as the depression guy, because I wrote a thing about depression and talked about that, so I was seen as the depression guy. And you get asked, do you want to come on and talk about your depression? And it's like, do you want to come on and doing a thing about Muslim men driving red cars? And we thought,
I get asked to do sometimes random serious news stuff where I'll be like debating some right-wing guy, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I want to be a comedian.
It's tough to get gags out on Newsnight.
I don't want to argue with a racist and then get loads of abuse. You know what I mean?
Everything is so, and this is the thing that me and Kath are trying to avoid, although it can be fun sometimes. But you've got, it's not a card we play very often. It is the conflict. Everything now has to be conflict. You have to have, you have to, someone talking about Muslim issues, should we say. So you've got to have a Muslim on, but then you've also got to have someone from the far right to disagree with. Well, why can't we just have the Muslim guy on? You know, why, or someone talking about, teaching about gays in school, and then you've got to have someone from the Christian or from the Muslim, why can't we just have the one thing? Why have we got to go for the conflict all the time? I'm so bored. It's a thing that the BBC do a lot, and I'm so tired of it, man.
It's exciting, I guess.
It gets viewers, you know. This is why, I mean, this show is doing all right. We find out this week. We find out tomorrow night. But we do so much better if we had you in and we go, well, okay, Bilal, that's interesting that you're saying that, but we've got an EDL comedian in who's going to tell you.
Don't think they have a sense of humour.
Well, no, they don't have a great one. Really, but if we had that, I don't quite know what the counterpoint would be. But if we had that, tonight's show, it's going to be feisty, it's going to be punchy. We got a Muslim comedian, and we've got a far right person who doesn't find anything funny. And
there are more and more there's a bunch of comedians that consider themselves right wing that go on about freedom of speech.
Right.
You know, that's like a thing now.
We're running out of time. I think it's good that there's always the thing about the BBC left-wing bias, which I actually don't disagree with. I think you hear, whatever side you are, I think you hear the other sides, from the BBC. But they do have a point that a lot of the comedians on the panel shows are kind of left-wing, centre-left and all of that. And I do think it would be good to have wing makes it, but some people on the right, and I know
there's not that many.
There's not many. There's one guy whose selling point is he's like a pro-Brexit comedian whose name escapes me.
Jeff Norcott?
That could be it.
I think so.
Yeah, that could be it. When you say free speech, you're talking like on borderline racist.
Basically,
right,
So that Count Dankula guy, the
Nazi pug.
He started off a whole thing. And,
okay.
And the thing is, though, with the free speech stuff, they go on about you can't say anything anymore. You really can say anything.
They are saying it. They are.
Yeah. We're out of time, Bilal. Give us your Twitter.
Zafar Cakes.
Zafar Cakes and Bilal Zafar comedian.
Comedy.
On
the website.
Send me a little tweet and I will retweet it.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, man.
You too.
Genuinely, thank you. And let us know when you're doing a show in London, and we'll love to come along and see it. 0344 499 1000. This is Talk Radio.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Well, I'm not the kind to kiss and tell, but I've been seen with Farrah. I've never been with anything less than a 9. So fine, I've been on fire with Sally Field, gone fast with a girl named Bo. But somehow they just don't end up as mine. It's a death-defying life I lead. I take my chances. I die for living in the movies and TV. But the hardest thing I ever do is watch my leading ladies kiss some other guy while I'm bandaging my knee. I might fall from a tall building, I might roll a brand new car, 'cause I'm the unknown stuntman that made Redford such a star. I've never spent much time in school, but I've taught ladies plenty. It's true, I hire my body out to pay. Hey, I've gotten burned over Cheryl Teague's, blown up for Raquel Welch. But when I wind up in the hay, it's only hay. Hey, I might jump an open drawbridge
good. It's like that thing when you say goodbye to a friend after a night out or after work or something, and then you get to the tube station and it's like, it's you again. And how many times can we say goodbye, Bilal?
We didn't hug though. We didn't. Okay.
We didn't hug. But there's I once got off a train because Hugh Dennis got on a train, and I'd met him the night before, and I just didn't want to speak to him.
Yeah.
Not because I didn't like him, but I'd been introduced to him the night before. Otherwise, I'm sure he wouldn't have known who I was. And we'd had an awkward conversation that night, and I thought, I don't really want to be sat on a tube having another
Did you have to get off?
Yeah. I didn't have to, no. But my insecurity meant that, I got off at, the one after Camden that's not always open. I can't think what it's called. I haven't lived in London for so long. And then I walked down to Tottenham Court Road. So I had to walk 20 minutes in the sweltering heat.
Was it worth it?
No, it was stupid, really stupid. I'm sure he wouldn't have seen me. Or if he did, I could have gone, all right, Hugh, fancy seeing you here. Fancy seeing Hugh here is what I should have said.
Yeah.
15 years later, and I finally come up with the winning line. Man alive. But no, I'm not very good with I could do conversations like this because this isn't real. But in real life, I can't do it.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. You're right, Boyley?
Yeah.
Why is he still here?
We're sorted. Asif's on his way.
Okay. All right. But he's still in the studio with me.
I'll tell you why in a minute, but I'm trying to be slick.
Okay. Well, how slick are you? Because is my next guest up?
Just give me a moment.
Captain is the best producer in the world if you want a really sloppy...
Do you want him at all? Pipe down.
That's outrageous behaviour. Is his car coming? Where are you? What are you doing?
He's on his way.
We've got 6 minutes to get down the stairs.
Right, get out of my studio. I'm going for can I go for the hug now, Bilal?
Yeah.
Because then this is it. Then we can't...
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, brother.
I'll see you around.
Keep in touch. Don't forget your phone.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. We'll see you again. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. You'd be very, very welcome to. Now, last night we were talking. He was nice, wasn't he, Bilal? I liked him a lot. What a nice guy. I want to go and see him do some stand-up now. We were talking about a gentleman in the United States of America who had come to the conclusion that the stones in Stonehenge were in fact actual bones from giants. Now, I know it sounds, I don't want to say crazy. It doesn't sound particularly sensible, but who are we to argue with this stuff? Who are we to argue with this? How do you know that isn't true? How do I know that isn't? Who knows what Stonehenge is? We're not dialing the right number. There we go. What a world we live in. In this ever-changing world in which we live in, makes you give in and cry. So live and let die. I tell you what, while we're waiting for that to get sorted out, listen to this. This is terrible. The lead guitarist of In Excess. Anyone name him? Can anyone name the lead guitarist of In Excess? No. Stared down in horror at the bloody stump of his left ring finger after it was hacked off by a boat's anchoring equipment in 2015 and screamed, "It's taken my finger off!" A shocked Tim Farriss, who feared he was about to faint, then gathered the finger in the palm of his hand and held it against his chest. Wow. This is horrendous. Sorry, this was meant to be a light-hearted filler story. Instead, it's absolutely bloody horrible. The Perth-born musician is now suing the Sydney rental boats operators John William Axford and Jill Mary Axford for damages. He claims they're responsible for the injury that ended his career. I would suggest the death of Michael Hutchence is what ended the career. Do you remember they did a TV show? It's quite a good TV show, actually, where they looked for a replacement singer for Michael Hutchence. Do you remember that? It was quite a good show, that. What was that called? 0344 499 1000. I will never forget what I saw as long as I live, Farris, 61, said in his evidentiary statement for the NSW Supreme Court. That's not safe for work, Supreme Court civil case. My hand, why can't I do an Australian accent? My hand was covered in rust, blood, and mud, but I could see one of my fingers had been severed and the others were disfigured, badly lacerated and bleeding. Farris's legal team argues there was a foreseeable and not insignificant risk of injury to someone handling the anchoring equipment on the Omega Clipper 34 boat. The guitarist hired the boat for a leisure cruise on Pittwater Bay over the Australia Day weekend in 2015. The statement of claim argues the defendants failed to properly instruct Farris how to use the equipment and didn't maintain a fully functioning anchor system. You've always got to have a fully functioning anchor system, guys. The Axfords and Church Point Charter insists Farris was given proper instructions but failed to take due care and failed to operate the anchor appropriately. If Farris suffered injury, loss or damage, which is not admitted, the defendants say such loss and damage was caused or contributed to by the first plaintiff's own fault and negligence. The musician argues that on the 24th of January in 2015, he and his wife Beth sailed into Akuna Bay, but struggled to set anchor because the chain was prone to kinking. They telephoned a Church Point Charter employee for assistance after the anchor motor stopped operating and then reset the circuit breaker. The motor restarted, but it didn't halt the kinking of the chain. Farris says he attempted to realise... This is getting quite technical, guys. I just want to hear more about fingers being chopped off. He suffered a severed left ring finger. So that's the marriage finger, right? And serious injuries to his index, that's Peter Pointer, and middle, that's the bird finger. There was a minor injury, now this can't be a technical term. There was a minor injury to his pinky finger. Who's laughing at that? Was that you? Yeah, it's pinky. That can't be a technical term. He needed 11 hours of surgery to reattach the severed finger, which is no longer functional. Farris is seeking damages for loss of earnings and future loss of earnings as well as that. I mean, I don't want to make jokes, but do we thank these people for ending NXS? I find my reattached ring finger to be an annoyance and unsightly. I have considered having it amputated. I am no longer able to play guitar other than a few beginner level chords. I mean, dear God. In excess, are they the most cursed, unlucky band in the world? Can you think of a band more unlucky? Let's try I suppose Badfinger. No, who was the band? 0344 499 1000. Who was the band where half of them died in a plane crash? It was, they were like Down Home, the Down Home Southern Boys. Is that what they were called? Not the Down Home Southern Boys. Flip it, X. Someone phone up and tell me what the bloody band are called. Instead of listening to a man drowning in a sea of complete uselessness, what were they called? Down Home Southern Boys. No, they weren't called that. That's not a name. Is it true that one of Ozzy Osbourne's band was chopped in half by an aeroplane? 0344 499 1000. That's the telephone number to give us your grisly, gruesome rock stories. We're still waiting for racists to call in. We're still quite happy for racists to call in. We haven't had anybody call in to defend Boris Johnson and Donald Trump yet. That would be, they're all kind of talk and no trousers. The old gamer guy on Twitter was going to call in and never quite got round to it. I don't know why. 0344 499 1000. This is Talk Radio.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
0344 499 1000. David says the London boys were killed in a car crash. It's got very Partridge and very unpleasant, hasn't it? Let's go to Andy. Good evening, Andy.
Hey, Ian.
Hey, Andy, what you got for us, man?
It was just to let you ken, it was Leonard Skinner.
Leonard Skinner! Although down home southern boys, it sums them up pretty nicely, doesn't it?
I know, I prefer that, actually,
They're down home. And was it one of, Ozzy Osbourne's band that got chopped in half by an airplane?
I never heard of that. I heard that Kirsty McCall was, she no get...
Kirsty McCall, yeah, really sad on a holiday. She was, got hit by a boat. I think she was protecting her kid. The boat was coming for her kid, and she kind of jumped on him or her, I don't know, I'm afraid, to kind of protect him, and she got hit and died. That's a shame. That's terrible.
I was thinking, what do you call it, spinal tap, they were quite unlucky, but...
Was it the drummer died in a bizarre gardening accident? At least one of them. One spontaneously combusted live on stage.
That's right.
Andy, thank you very much indeed. 0344 499 1000. Let's go to Alistair. Good evening, Alistair.
It was Leonard Skinner.
Leonard Skinner. We just got that, man. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I'm too late.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. We're all too late to save Leonard Skinner down, I'm afraid.
Great meeting tonight, man.
With Mistress Sophia?
Unfortunately not, but I mean, another great meeting.
Because we all want to hear about, and you don't have to tell us, of course, but we all want to hear about the meeting with Mistress Sophia, because that sounds like a great day.
Having spoken yesterday about it, I think I need to do a bit more research about what goes on.
What goes on is you get told that you're worthless, and you get a little bit of spanky.
Hands and knees sort of thing.
Yeah,
really.
And here's the thing, with someone like Sophia, she's, and there are others like, they're not gonna, they'll tailor it to your specific needs. They are not gonna thrash you to within an inch of your life. If that's it, it will be a little gentle, it'll be whatever you want it to be.
Will she let me go?
Yeah, she'll let you go. Of course we should let you go. Of course, it's Alistair again, Catherine. He's still toying with the idea of Mistress Sophia or someone of her ilk.
He's worried she won't want to let him go. Flatter yourself.
He's just worried that it might be a little bit intense. Here's the thing. You get someone good like her, and there are lots out there. They want your repeat business, okay? So they are not going to do anything you don't want to do. I'm sure there would be there would be a safe word where you say it and the scene stops immediately. It's whatever you want it to be, man. Have a think about what might be interesting to you, and then get in touch with her or someone like that and see what they say.
All right, man, that's brilliant.
But go on, you're talking about your AA meeting tonight.
Say again? Oh, yes.
Go on, what happens?
Don't know, I mean, it's just,
well, obviously don't tell me what happened. I just realised I'm totally inappropriate.
Tonight and yesterday, I'm just overwhelmed by the love that you find in those scenarios. They're absolutely gorgeous. And they're like a real Philip. And I just feel so absolutely wonderful.
There you go.
Every time I leave those forums, and I realise, yes, there are lovely human beings on this planet.
There are. So, I've got to throw a Spaniard in the works. It sounds like you're pink clouding it a bit, which is great, but just, you're going to go down as well as up. Remember that.
Oh, yes.
I
was down at the weekend.
Okay, fine. Well, good. Good you were down. Good you know that this buzz doesn't last forever. And it comes and it goes, and but it's the joy of what you've got, Alistair, is the joie de vivre. Literally, the joy of living and of life is now coursing through your veins. Now you see there is an alternative.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Thank you very much to you too.
Nice one, man. Thank you very much. Cheers, Alistair. Take care. Well done. 0344 499 1000. Where's Roger Spurr?
He's giving me the wrong number.
What?
Yeah.
What the hell?
I keep checking it, but I've sent him a message. Let's see what happens.
What the hell is going on?
It's all going on tonight, isn't it?
It's what the hell?
So, the company is changing Uber.
Right.
Or the way it does Uber.
Well, Uber's changing Uber.
Well, no, the account is being shifted over.
Okay, so what does that mean?
It means I paid for him myself because we couldn't use their company's account. It didn't work, so I've told the boss it's all good. It's all good.
Fine. All right, fine. Okay. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Could you do me a favour? Could you speak to Andre while I just got to look something up on here, if you wouldn't mind? Thank you.
Sure. Hi, Andre.
Hi, Kath, how are you doing?
I'm alright, thanks. What are you up to?
Yeah, just chilling, listening to the show, really. But, did you know who died in that plane crash? What group?
Beg pardon, what?
Did you know what man died in that plane crash?
I was not in the room when you were talking about plane crashes, so fill me in if you don't mind.
Oh, it's Buddy Holly and his band, yeah.
Buddy Holly's band went on the plane.
On the bus, didn't they?
No, they were on the bus. The band went on the plane.
No, they was on the plane.
But the Crickets weren't on the plane.
The Buddy Holly was.
Yeah, but not Buddy Holly's band.
Richie Valens.
Oh, that's what I heard.
Well, but no, Kathy, you've got this.
I don't think I have.
Go on.
Say it again, Andre.
Buddy Holly's band died in the plane crash. Oh, moving on from that.
I've got to move on because I've got another phone number for Roger Spurr.
You know Stonehenge?
Yes.
When I was there, right, now you're not going to believe this.
No.
I got really early in the morning there, and have a guess what was within sight of Stonehenge.
Right.
A flipping crop circle. I nearly cacked myself.
A cock circle?
A crop C-R-O-P circle.
Okay. Right.
Like, I couldn't believe, I didn't know what was happening.
Okay.
Can you believe that?
I mean, I guess I kind of believe it, Andre. If you say it, why would I doubt that? Well,
true, you're right in what you say.
Okay, thank you very much indeed, Andre. I mean, very, this is a confusing time to be alive, isn't it, guys? Let's go to Dave. Good evening, Dave.
Hi.
Hey, Dave, what you got for us?
I'd just like to say about them what got killed in the plane crash. I think it was Buddy Holly, Richie Valens and the Big Bopper.
Thank you. And it wasn't Buddy Holly's band. So that was good. Also, to be factually correct, Buddy Holly wasn't even touring with the Crickets at that time. I think he'd sacked the Crickets off. But it wasn't the band. It was those guys. And who was it that swapped places with Richie Valens? It was Country and Western Star was supposed to be on the plane, and I think he tossed a coin, and Richie Valens won it. Was it Waylon Jennings?
I think so, yeah. I
think it was Waylon Jennings. Dave, thank you very much indeed. I think it was Waylon Jennings, and Dion as well was part of that tour. Right. 0344 499 1000. We're going to make another call out to America in a little bit. That's kind of what I was just looking up at, and we'll go there in a bit. But before that, tell us a little bit about Roger Spurr and what we were discussing yesterday, Catherine.
Roger Spurr from Mudfossil University, based out in the US of A.
United States of America.
Has a really interesting theory.
Should we find out what it is?
Yeah, go on.
Evening, Roger.
Hello there, my friend. How are you?
Very, very well. It's nice to talk to you at last. We had a little bit of a problem, but we've got you now.
Well, that's the important thing. So I'm good, yeah.
That's what it's all about. What is your theory about the Great British Stonehenge?
Well, I really need to start from the beginning.
Go for
about the origin, literally, of the rocks that you see.
Yeah.
Is not what you think. They are not just some dead dust that accumulated. Now, I did some research here in Connecticut, USA, in 2012.
Yeah.
I found some anatomically perfect, huge, gigantic human fingertips. Gigantic. It would assimilate to somebody that was 50 feet tall, one of them, and one that was 200 feet tall.
Sorry, where did you find these fingertips?
I found them right on my property, literally.
Wow.
In Connecticut here, here in Connecticut, and they're all over the world. This is nothing unusual.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing unusual whatsoever. And that's why Stonehenge is the way it is. And if you look at the heel stone, and you look at it carefully, you can see that's a foot. And I know about how it is underneath the soil there too, and it is a heel of that foot. Now, anyway, so going back to 2012, I find all things in the ground, and they are anatomically, undeniably huge human fingertips. So,
let me just you say undeniably. Why? What tells you they are fingertips and just not big old rocks?
Okay, what told me was the actual literal look of it first. Now, so I am in the semiconductor industry. That's what I was. I don't do that stuff anymore, but I fully understand molecules, how they bond, and all the different chemistry. So I took it and I said, well, I know what it is. but nobody would talk to me about it because it was so outrageous. So I said, well, what would it take to get this thing certified? And Yale told me, well, you're going to need to get CAT scans, you're going to need to get DNA, you're going to need to have an anatomist look at this, and you're going to have to write up something about it. I did all that. I had the DNA test done by Helix Biolabs.
Yeah.
And they did 3 DNA tests for me. They all came out positive for their modern human DNA, even though they're gigantic, and I mean gigantic. So now,
you
do these 3 tests. So then I take these, it was not cheap. It was expensive. It took 3 months to do the test, and they came back all positive. And they ran negative controls, all that. So now, I go searching for somebody to do CAT scans. And the best CAT scan place in the world, Jesse Garant and Associates, they scan actual racing car engines and all that big stuff in these huge scanners, which very few people have. We had one done at the University of Texas. It was a waste of time and a ton of money.
Well, hang on a minute. Now, why do you say it was a waste of time at the University of Texas? Is that because it didn't come back with the results you wanted it to come back with?
No, it became because they literally refused to speak to me once they did the CAT scan. And it ended up being a real fight, and they told me not to bother him ever again, stay away from him. All I wanted to ask him was how the water molecules affected it, because it was extremely dry.
Why did they not want to speak to you again? They thought you were a fruitcake?
You have no idea, my friend.
Yeah.
What academia does to truth. It is not a place you will find any truth whatsoever. None.
Gosh. Okay. So you weren't allowed to talk to them again. So you took it elsewhere.
No. So let me just go through the whole process.
Yeah, go on. Of course. Sorry, Roger.
That's okay. It's sort of a complicated, circuitous thing, but we'll get to the end of it here now.
Yeah.
So I get the DNA test done. They all come back positive. I go get Jesse Garant to do these CAT scans, and he did them gratis because he knew what they were. He's a scientist, and normally it was over $15,000 worth of scans that they did. Then I had Dill Headley, who owns his own autopsy school, teaches all around the world. He authenticated it as well. He said, absolutely, no question. It is exactly what you're saying. I have so much evidence on it. And the chemistry, and I know the chemistry because of where it actually accumulates in the body based on different anatomical necessity.
Yeah.
The tendon made out of CaCO3, calcium carbonates. Your blood goes down in the FeO3 state, which is the 3 oxygens. It passes through the blood vessels. It comes back to FeO2 state. I got this down. So they hate this, absolutely hate it, because it changes everything that they've said about our history and about the size of these creatures. And literally, the thing they hate the worst is it backs up some of the statements in the Bible. Now, that's not my intention to go off into religious land.
No.
My intention is to go into the truth. What is the truth? And right now, let me just say something, Ian, if I can. I'm just going to make a couple of quick statements.
Go on, Roger. Of course you can.
Well, here's the deal. If you want to look up what I'm talking about, people have computers. They can just go to Mud Fossils, and that's Mud Fossils, all one word with an S.com.
Okay.
There's 3 DNA tests. It's all in one report, and then there's the links to the Facebook and the YouTube. And so that pretty much sets us up, my friend. I have the evidence. There is no question whatsoever now. And I actually have some. I've got some things.
I've gone to mudfossils.com and I'm looking at the DNA tests. That is quite. I don't know what I'm seeing. That's quite. Maybe I'm a bit dumb, Roger, when it comes to DNA. That's quite a complicated read.
Yes, it is. It's exactly what it is. It's extremely complicated because they did the test in the most strict protocols, which means that they use gene clean kits, sterile conditions, all kinds of temperature regulation, and, and it's very, very, very sophisticated. And it came out, if you go to the end, you'll see
oh yeah.
It's Homo sapien, mitochrome B, and I forget what the other one was, a couple of different places, which is what they look for. And there was 100 base pairs.
But could that not just be, right, let me play devil's advocate, could that not just be that over centuries, I don't know, people touched them, or, you know, that somehow human DNA, I don't know, you know, let's go into the world of crazy. Maybe someone did it with a stone in the old days, because somehow human DNA has got there by other methods than them being fossilized giant bones.
Yes, absolutely. DNA can be anywhere. However, here's the story here. I cleaned everything down with bleach. These were solid stones. There was no way anything got in there that after it was cleaned. Then I drill, and then I drill deeper. And then I take that sample, and I take it out of an arterial network. Right. So I'm taking it out of the artery, right out of the blood.
Yeah.
And then they take it. So I get that sample. Now, when they got it, if you look at the three samples, if you go to the slips where they show the different colors there.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay. You see two of them are, there's like three bands. Here, I should go on mine. But the one on the right hardly has any reaction. Do you see that?
Yeah. Yeah.
The other two are dense. Those two, he told me, were extremely dense. And that means that I would have to squirt my own blood on there. I took it right out of the blood. And people don't understand this, but Mary Schweitzer, back in 2008 or something, she took some bone material from a T-Rex and put a little bit of acid on it. And it sat there for months. And then all of a sudden it turned, so it was gooey, and it was, the cells of the blood were liberated, because blood blood is a metal complex, right? If blood has ferrous oxides, that's metal. Right?
Oh yeah, when you get blood in your mouth, you can taste iron, yeah.
Exactly. So now, what happens with metals is what they call chelation. And chelation is a process where the metal complex, the metal is the central core, and what wraps around it is what they call ligands. They're little tiny molecules, like a rubber bag, that surround that molecule and sequester and keep it forever, literally, almost forever.
I'm chuckling because Al has done a very witty tweet. Fair play to this guy. He's actually had the patience to endure and get blood from a stone. So he's right there. Now, I'm looking at Stonehenge. By the way, before that, Roger, I don't know, are you married? I just wondered, the day that you found fingertips, or you know, you came to the conclusion that Stonehenge was giant bones, I just wondered what your missus or what your family would have said when you said, right, that's it, I got it, I know what's going on. Did those close to you laugh at you? Did they get it straight away?
Oh, they still don't get it. They still don't get it. People are so deluded with what they've been taught that the first thing out of their mouth is, what PhD told you to say that? You know, they want to know how I am able to make these statements. Now, my whole life, I fixed things. I worked on electronic equipment. I designed stuff. I taught electronics, and I had a couple of businesses of electronics and business machines and all that sort of stuff. So I understand the chemistry.
Yeah.
I understand the anatomy. There's no rocket science. It's 100% obvious. If you've seen any of the videos on mud fossils,
there's a link for YouTube on your website. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, I've got hundreds of them up there, and they're all backed up with the chemistry, the DNA, the CAT scans, the material, microscopic shots.
But you know, you are, listen, I'm on, because I'm open to anything these days, Roger. I'm open to absolutely anything. But you do realise how crazy it sounds, don't you? You know that because you're a sensible guy.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I tell you what, you want to talk about crazy?
Yeah, go on. Go on, talk to me about crazy.
It's fun, brother, here. got Google Earth?
I got Google Earth, man. Yeah, I think it's just like online, isn't it?
Jump on Google Earth.
Yeah, I'm going to Google Earth. Hang on, Google Earth. Yeah.
Yep. And everybody out in your audience, go on Google Earth and go right on top of Morocco.
Okay, hang on a minute. I don't now. Now it won't work. Oh, it's loading. It's loading.
Yeah, take your time. It's no big deal.
We got no rush.
In Morocco, and I have a video. I'll tell them about it. There is a dragon you can see from Google Earth, and if you can't see it, brother, you're going to have to go.
I'm going Morocco. How many R's in Morocco and how many C's?
1 and 2.
1 and 2. Thank you. All right, Catherine. Please, I don't know how to spell Morocco. I've only been there.
It's just the north of Africa. You can't miss this thing. It's the whole entire north of Africa.
I got it. And what? Sorry. So I'm zooming into Morocco. Okay, I'm here. And what am I looking for?
A dragon.
Okay, look for a dragon's head, and just below it will be a gigantic fish.
Hang on a minute.
You're going to see a big, long, like a road-looking thing that heads over towards the Mediterranean.
Okay.
Back out of that road-looking thing. Or go right down into it, and you can see it's all dragon scales.
I'm at Marrakesh. Hang on a minute. I'm not very good at it's like looking for the dolphin in the 3D pictures in the 90s.
No, that's okay. I can guide you to this. And I have, like I said, I have the videos.
Kath, have you found it?
Yeah.
Kath has found it.
So the eye of the dragon is just above Marrakesh.
Oh, yes! Once you can see it, you can see it! So the eye is by Safi, the mouth is by Agadir.
Now, you see all that stuff running off? Back out to about a height of, I'm up at high altitude.
Yeah.
300 miles.
Okay. Yeah, I'm there.
Now, you see all that runoff from the body?
Yeah.
You see that neck runs all the way down. And flow down through that body. That neck runs down, and you just barely hit his stomach halfway across Africa.
But hang on, Roger. Isn't that just the way the it's earthquakes and it's volcanoes and it's shifting and that. You're not telling me that is actually a giant dragon dinosaur thing that is the size of Morocco?
Absolutely, I am saying that, my friend.
Holy
and
shit.
not only am I saying that, hold on. Open your mind up, brother.
I'm opening it. It's open. Trust me, this is the most open mind on radio, Roger. I promise you, man. I'm listening. Go on.
Okay. All right. Good. Now, you see the head.
Yeah.
Oh, you see the head.
I got it.
You see all that dark stuff coming out of his lips?
Yeah.
Follow that down.
Where are we going now?
He attacked the giant fish.
Yeah, fair play. That checks out.
Show me, just make sure I got the right thing. Let me see. He's right! He's right! My God! Right, okay. All right, if that was a giant dragon, what was it walking on then if Morocco wasn't there?
I don't have the answer to a lot of things, my friend.
No.
Well, I have a lot of things to show. But you go down, I'm telling you, I went down and I could find where he squirted that. You go into that black stuff, and it is the nastiest stuff. Go way, way down. That is identical to the worst and nastiest snake toxins that exist on the face of the planet.
What happened, Roger, when you spoke to the National Heritage or whoever it is, English Heritage, sorry, that looks after Stonehenge, and you said, guys, I know you've been talking about this for years, but I know what Stonehenge is. They are they are giant bones. What did English Heritage say to you, Roger?
I can't recall the exact words, but I thought it was something like, please don't contact us again.
Them and Texas.
Do you think it's because they are closed-minded, or do you think it's because they know?
No, I don't know. I got to be honest with you. It's Catherine, right?
Yeah.
Catherine there? Okay, I'm still Roger.
Good.
Anyway, they're I don't know what people are. I have no idea what people's minds are anymore. I really have no clue. The people are so freaking deluded. You can show them something. I get geologists all day long. Not one of them recognizes that's a dragon. Not a single one. Oh no, you're just a guy that's crazy. No, I'm not. That's a dragon. It's attacking a fish, and not only that, if you go to below the fish, it's Atlantis.
Oh, jeez. But here's the thing. But don't sometimes, Roger.
It is. Well, hold on. It is. You go below the fish, and you see all that stuff running out into the Atlantic Ocean.
Yes.
The huge, mud ran through there.
Yeah.
Plato said 9,100 years prior to him, Atlantis collapsed.
Yeah.
And so much, and the Sahara Ocean drained. And you can see it drain. It's obvious.
Yeah.
Now, it ran into the Atlantic Ocean. They say something collapsed offshore. That's obviously not right. And there's all kinds of ocean whale bones and everything in the middle of the Sahara that I don't know how they explain all this stuff with the theories they have. But anyway.
But Roger, don't these things just happen? You know, I'm thinking there's that face on Mars that we've all seen, but actually it's just the way the picture was taken. And if you take the picture from 10 degrees from a different angle, you just see some rocks and some bumps.
And isn't that part of our sort of our psychological makeup, is that we look for faces in things? It's a survival technique.
Yes, and absolutely, people see all kinds of things, and that has been an issue, a problem with my research, because I only do stuff that I am 100% certain of. And I know the markers, I know the anatomy, I know the chemistry, I know where these different materials, they call it flocculation. Well, not flocculating anywhere. That was
Careful, you say that.
Issue or fascia or something. I understand the layering and exactly how everything works in this mud fossil stuff. I've been doing this a long time.
So what's next, Roger? You're banging and by the way, you got an open invitation to come on this show anytime you want, brother. You got Catherine's contact details. You get new research, that book comes out, whatever. You get in touch with Catherine, you're coming on. I promise you, that's my guarantee. What do you do next then? If you're banging your head against a stone wall and the people in power aren't listening or are choosing not, to suppress your information, where do you go next?
Well, I just keep shouting in the woods. See, here's the deal. I don't care about. For me, this has nothing to do with money whatsoever, or anything else, or like a Nobel Prize or any of that nonsense. That's all just for me. I'm old. I just want to make it to heaven, brother. I want to find out what reality is, and we are so far from reality. So far from reality that people think, oh, I'm good, everything's good, I'm just a nice guy, I'm having a good time living, and everything's good because I believe this or I believe that. Well, they don't even know the starting point of the whole universe. Right now, I have no reason whatsoever to think that there's nothing ever that has not been alive. Because Mars and Earth itself, Earth is alive. 100%, I have proof of that. Mars was alive, is dead now, I almost am certain. But the absolute proof of Mars was alive, there's no question. That you ever see the stuff that says the Mars, what's it called? The Mars Morse code?
Yes.
Okay. That is what happens right underneath the skin. As the skin erodes, you end up with that pattern under the skin, which is what's called interstitial.
Yeah.
Interstitial. And that is those balls and all those little straps. And you can pull your skin this way and pull your skin that way and all that stuff. And the truth is, it's unbelievable, but it's true. If you look it up and say, a new organ just discovered, interstitium. They just discovered this about a year or so ago. I've been reporting on it for like 5 years.
Jeez.
They didn't even know it existed under your skin.
Is this true, Catherine? Are you Googling it?
I'm not.
Okay, but we believe it to be true.
I believe it. Sounds legit to me.
Roger, listen, I've got to move on. I'm so late for the ads, but I've really loved talking to you, man, and I'd love to get you back on again to hear more of your ideas and more of your evidence.
Yeah, sure. I got a lot of other things going on too. I do everything. I do light research. We accelerated light.
Sorry?
Yeah, we accelerated light, and Einstein said that's impossible. Einstein was wrong about everything.
Hang on, you're not telling me that we've time traveled, are you?
No. Here's the whole story of the reason we know where we are in the universe.
Yeah.
Is because the speed of light is consistent, right? It goes 186,000 miles a second. Everybody knows that. There's no question about that. That's the only speed it goes. Never going to slow down or speed up. Well, we know it slows down, obviously. In water, it slows down. There's not even a question about that. However, working with another guy in Australia, Rodney Warren, he came up with what's called a Venturi accelerator. And all it is he sends laser into a extreme restriction.
Yeah.
And that laser, just exactly what happens in the nozzle of a hose, has to accelerate. And it does. Okay. And accelerates into Higgs bosons.
Okay.
And I have all that evidence.
Roger, I've got to go. We will speak again. That is Roger Spurr. If you want to go and check out the DNA results, you go to mudfossils.com. Mudfossils.com. Roger, really nice to talk to you. Catherine, if you want to go and thank our guest, that would be delightful.
Of course.
0344 499 1000. This dear listener is Talk Radio.
Experience the unconventional.
Hello?
The unpredictable.
Don't you think that's a bit weird?
And the completely unorthodox.
It was my birthday.
With rule-free Iain Lee.
I was just trying to generate a bit of content.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee.
Hate alarm clock, hate going to work.
On Talk Radio.
0344 499 1000. I've got a number of someone I need to call in America who apparently tried to call yesterday but couldn't get the phones to work. So 001, isn't it? That's for America, I think. Oh, by the way, I'm on Good Morning Britain tomorrow morning. I'm doing the showbiz news if you guys want to watch a man who will have only had literally 2 hours sleep. That's always a fun thing to do. That's always a fun thing to do. Wow, water.
Hello.
Hello, Sheila. It's Iain Lee. You're on Talk Radio.
Hi. How you doing, Iain?
I'm all right. Although I've just found out I'm out of water, and that makes me sad. How are you doing?
I'm good. I just got home from work, just chilling.
Take your number off Twitter now, because you're going to get all kinds of loonies.
Oh, I will. Okay.
Get rid of that. Well, you say what do you do for a living?
Oh, I'm just kind of working a little bit doing Uber. I'm disabled, so I do Uber like 3 days a week.
Now, whereabouts are you in the States? It just says North America on my screen.
Oh, it's Southern California. It's near Palm Springs.
Oh, man, that is beautiful there.
No, it's okay.
What do you mean it's okay? Here's the thing. You probably think that London is very glamorous, right? And we think that Southern California near Palm Springs is very glamorous. But, of course, when you live in these places or work in these places, there's nothing glamorous about them at all. It's just what it is.
Because you see it every day, huh?
You see it every day. This is, when I lived in London, people say, have you been up the London Eye? No. Have you been to Buckingham Palace? No, because I lived there, and I see all these things. How are you finding Ubering?
I like it. No, I don't make a couple $100 a week. It's just, like I said, I'm disabled. My husband makes all the money. I just, make money to buy my granddaughter toys.
There you go. How old's your granddaughter?
She's 5.
Man, that's kind of when they start getting crazy.
A little bit, yeah.
Because they are now they can talk, now they can have conversations, now they can tell grandma what they want. But my boys are 7 and 9, and man alive, the 9-year-old he's not a baby anymore, and he's kind of like a young man. He has glimpses of being a kid, but he's kind of a young man, and so I'm hoping the 7-year-old stays 7 for as long as possible.
Oh, that's the baby, yeah. No, 5 is fine. She can fix grandma's phone when my phone's messed up.
No, really?
Before, yeah. So
she can do all of that. Well, go on.
Yeah, I don't know who showed her. She just figured it out.
Kids now have a natural thing where before they've ever been handed it, you hand them a phone or a tablet, they'll start doing the thing to swipe and stretch the screen. They do all of that without knowing.
Through the womb, I think.
Yeah, I don't know how it's a weird thing. I mean, my skill when I was a kid in the 70s and the 80s was I was the only one in my house at the age of 7 that could set the timer on the VCR. Nobody else could do it, but now I always thought I was kind of hip with technology, and I'm now that guy that says, boys, I can't do this. Can you fix this for me? And they'll go off and they'll fix it.
They enjoy that, though. It's good.
They do enjoy it, and it just makes us feel older. Hey, listen, thanks so much for getting in touch. I just want to say, Sheila, I love you.
Oh, I love you too. I listen to you every day, you and Kath.
No, you don't. You listen to Mike Graham. You don't listen to this rubbish. I know what you listen to. You listen to the Independent Republic of Mike Graham in the mornings.
She knows what my name is. That's proof enough for me.
Okay. But listen.
I get up at 2 a.m. at California time so I can catch his show. But I listen.
No, you don't. Oh, come on. You're better than that, Sheila. No, you get up at 2 a.m. to listen to Mike Graham?
Uh-huh.
Oh, God, I've worked in an office with that man. Why would you... Well, you can listen again later on in the day on the website.
Oh, on the podcast.
No, you can go to talkradio.co.uk and you can listen again. You can listen when you wake up.
To the whole thing?
The whole 3 hours.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, no! Sheila! Oh, you absolute pudding! Yes, it's not the most user-friendly system. If you go to talkradio.co.uk and you click on past shows, you can listen to the whole show anytime. You can pause it. You can go out, come back. I'm right, aren't I, Catherine?
Yeah, tweet me, Sheila, and I'll send you a little step-by-step guide because it isn't obvious.
We can't have you getting up at 2 a.m. in the morning to listen to him.
No.
I really like your show.
He's good. I listen. And here's what I wanted to say. I don't want to argue with you about Trump and racism and all of that. I don't want to argue with you. Here's the thing, right? I disagree with nearly everything that Mike Graham says, right? I disagree with him. I disagree with him a lot, but I still listen to his radio show, and quite often, if I need a little bit of advice or something, I will send him a little private message on Twitter, and he'll come back with because he's been doing this a lot longer, that he'll come back with some reassuring words or a couple of suggestions. But what I'm trying to say is that me and Mike are friends, and we disagree on almost everything. And what seems to have been lost, and that 1 minute, 20-second clip of me, it's a little bit of theatre, right? It's a little bit of theatre. But what seems to be lost in the age of Twitter, I think primarily, is and I know that this has happened in your country with Trump, and it certainly happened over here with Brexit, is that if people have different viewpoints, what we might lazily say are on, left wing and right wing politics, or pro-Trump, anti-Trump, or pro-Brexit, anti-Brexit, there's now this kind of really nasty division, whereas before, you could sit and have dinner with someone who was from the left and someone who was from the right. You could go out for a drink. You could go and watch a movie with those people. But now there seems to be a real sense of, you think differently to me, so you're a piece of shit, and I hate you, and it's got to be aggressive, and it's got to be mean.
We're enemies. That's what it is.
We're enemies, and it's got to be personal. And it's not like that at all. Listen, I think that Trump is a racist. You don't think that Trump is a racist. That's all right. We can still get on, and we can still be friendly with each other. I disagree with what you think. You disagree with what I think. But I'm not going to slag you off and get all personal and go, that Sheila's a dick, and, she, blah, 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 blah. That, we can all still get on, can't we, even though we disagree?
Can you answer me something? No, this is what I don't understand. I quit watching American news and listening to American news programs because that's all it was.
Yes.
It's like, bashing the guy, and I'm like, I just couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah.
And why in Europe or in England, why do they care about our politics? I don't understand.
Because he's the leader of the. I can tell you why. Because he's the leader of the free world. So it could still be argued. We'll be a little bit late for the news, but that's cool. It could still be argued that America is the most, if not the most important country in the world, certainly in the top 5 of the most important countries in the world. So that is why, your country could, in theory, I'm not saying this is what Trump is doing, but your country could get us into a war if that's what they wanted to. And also, because in Britain, what happens in America, when the phrase is, when America sneezes, Britain catches a cold. And so what happens in America tends to kind of come over here in one form or another about 6 to 18 months later.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So that's why. It's not a singling out America simply because it was the same with when Obama was in, or when George, the Bushes were in. American news and American politics has always been a big story over here.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay.
And that's it. And I love you. And I bet you're the third best grandma in the world to your kids. My mum and my mother-in-law, of course, being the best. I bet you make an amazing. Can I ask you a question? What is pot roast?
Oh, pot roast. It's well, I've had my first husband was from Belfast. He used to make every Sunday the roast beef. Same thing, except we just do it in a pot in the oven, and they don't baste it or anything. You put liquid in with it.
Okay.
So it's wetter. It's wetter.
Oh, wet beef.
Sunday roast.
Wet beef curtains.
But your beef over there is better because you get Yorkshire pudding.
We get Yorkshire puddings. I look at an American knowing about Yorkshire puddings. You know what it's about.
She's tasted heaven.
Can we be friends? And if I was rude to you on air, I don't know if I was rude. I don't think I was. But if I was, I apologise. And
you weren't at all. You're fine. I love you guys.
Wait, listen, and this is the thing. People can completely disagree, but they can get on and shake hands and enjoy a cup of tea together and stuff like that. And that's all I want, Sheila.
Sounds good to me.
And thank you for being the only person out of all of that lot that got in touch and said, I'll come and chat to you. No one else did. So I really appreciate it, Sheila. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for calling me.
It's an absolute pleasure, and please don't get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to listen to Mike Graham. She didn't know you could listen online. Poor thing. Thank you, Sheila. Really. There we go. That's how you do it. That's what it's all about. Sloop John B will come to you next. This, dear listener, is Talk Radio.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me down the road. It's where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on down this road that never seems to end. When new adventure lies just around the bend. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's old style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, the whole world is my home. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's old style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. There's a world that's waiting to unfold, a brand new tale no one has ever told. We've journeyed far but you know it won't be long. We're almost there and we've paid our fare with a hobo song. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow.
Here we go, last hour of the show.
So if you want,
I'm hungry. I'm up at 5 o'clock to do Good Morning Britain.
grab your hat, come travel light, that's all.
I think I've only got 2 hits tomorrow. Let me see how many hits. Quite often they bump you anyway. Here's the joy. They bump you. And, hang on.
You know I'm free to roll.
They bump you. And, then you still get paid. Getting picked up at 5:10. You'll be in at about 5:15. Okay. What's the point? Part of me is thinking, what's the point of going to bed? Will I feel 2 hours sleep? Do you feel worse?
No, I would definitely go for the sleep.
So story 1 is Jessica Alba and Gabrielle Union, Woman Crush Wednesday. We caught up with, this is at 7:10 tomorrow. We caught up with LA's finest, Gabrielle Union. Could you Google her for me, please?
Yes.
And Jessica Alba, she's the singer.
No, she's an actress. An actor.
She's an actress. Pierce's favourite actress stars alongside the AGT judge.
America's Got Talent.
Judge as a detective duo, and they have a big crush on Meghan Markle. LA's Finest is Wednesday at 9 p.m. Okay, fine. It's the spin-off series of the Bad Boys films. Focuses on drug enforcement agent Sidney Burnett, played by Gabrielle, now working for the LAPD, alongside Nancy McKenna, played by Jessica Alba. Story 1. Story 2, Once Upon a Time in America thing. Story 3, Love Island people coming back home.
Okay.
Okay. And that is as far as I can see, that's it. I might be doing that a couple of times. Let me see what time, because I think I finished. This is how I can do it, right, on 2 hours sleep. I think tomorrow I finish at 8:10.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Here we go. So I'm on air at 6 o'clock at the start of the show. I'm on air for the presenter chat. That is the big time. That is the big time, when you have a little spontaneous chat about the news stories. That is the big time. And here's the thing tomorrow, guys. No wells, no owls, no neck braces, brace-eye, nothing. I'm wearing a suit. I'm wearing a full suit, a shirt, which I'll have to iron when I get thing. I forgot to bring my spray starch. And a tie. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it straight.
You can play the game.
Tomorrow I'm playing the game, because tomorrow I'm seeing this as my audition to be back in the big time. So let me do that again, because I think I can actually. I'm seeing tomorrow as my audition to be back in the big time.
Baby, baby, baby!
That's not bad. Let me try this though. Tomorrow, I'm seeing tomorrow as my chance to audition to be back in the big time.
Oh.
That's a bit mysterious.
Can I have a go?
Yeah, go on.
You do realise that tomorrow could be your chance to be back in the big time.
That's not bad. Try it again.
Here's the thing, Ian. Tomorrow is your chance to be back in the big time.
Yeah, that's all right. You do it better than me. So tomorrow, this is it. 6 o'clock on air. On air at, I think I'm only doing one hit, 7:10. Still getting, here's the thing. These 3 shows, I don't want to brag.
But?
I'm doing it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's the mortgage paid for the month. You know what I mean? That's TV money. Radio, I got to do a few weeks' work to get the more TV. That's the mortgage paid for the month. 3 days. That's it. That's it. That's all I want. So I want to be back on TV so I can pay the mortgage every month. Not much to ask. 03, and also I loved it. I wonder who's, can we see, could you Google who hosted Good Morning Britain this week? Because Piers is off, which means I don't have the dilemma of asking him why he blocks me on Twitter. Because I did think, if he's there, I've got to say something. I'm guessing Ben Shepherd and Kate Garraway, 2 of my favourite people. Ben Shepherd recommended the Ninja restaurant in New York, and Kate Garraway is funny. 2 of my favourite people, my favourite peeps, my bros, my bras. That's what we say, bras, when we mean bros. You're not saying braziers.
I can't.
Can you just Google it? Can you just Google it?
Who is presenting GMB this week?
Yes. Can someone? Can someone tell me?
I'll just look on Twitter.
Okay. We'll wait. It's like when we had to wait 20 minutes for that guest in America earlier this evening.
Yeah, while I paid for someone's cab that you'd invited in.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I would have tested the phone number. Oh.
Would you?
Yeah, I would have.
Okay, well.
I would have rang it and then hung up. I would have rung up.
Well, I thought I was going to... Yeah. Ben Shepherd and Kate Garraway.
My peeps.
Kate Garraway.
My peeps, I'm coming back! Benji and Katie, I'm coming back. My peeps, I am back. In the big time, I am back.
Is he doing that on Facebook?
I think he's getting blown off. Look for Kate Garraway and the showbiz man I'm replacing, whose name I don't know because I never have to say it.
Richard.
Curtis.
No.
Arnold.
Yes.
doing pottery.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
what, like Out of Ghost?
Yeah, like Out of Ghost. Try and find that. It's funny. While you're finding that, it's very, very funny, actually. I'm gonna go to Sloop John B. Good evening, Sloop.
Hello to Brother Ian and hello to Sister Catherine.
Sorry to keep you. I see you've been on the line for ages. I appreciate it. It's just been a little bit all over the shop this evening, but we're all good.
I would have been listening anyway, so it's great. But since you're going to be staying up all night for your big GMTV in the morning...
GMB, mate, we don't call it GMTV anymore, it's GMB,
sorry,
what's wrong with you losers?
GMB, sorry.
Hang on, Kath found the clip of Kate Garraway and Richard Arnold making a big knob out of
and then they make a right old mess of it.
Get a retweet on that.
It's a good clip, that, isn't it? The clip's somewhere on Twitter. I'll see if I can find it. So if someone can find that clip on Twitter and retweet it to me, I'd retweet. Go on, Sloop, go on, let's do this, buddy.
Right. Now listen, I'm really late to the party with this, but a podcast has turned me on to a film which I watched, which you love.
Oh, yeah.
Jim and Andy.
I didn't like the film. I didn't like the film.
Well, no, I know you're a Kaufman fan, right?
Yeah, very much so.
Right. Well, I was listening to a podcast with Jerry Lawler, and I know you're not into wrestling.
Oh, no, I know, yeah, Jerry the Hardman Lawler, of course, the hitman.
Jerry the King, man.
The King, that's it, the King. He's the King, yes.
Right? But what was really interesting was he spoke quite openly about, Kaufman. I didn't know they were friends.
Yeah, of course they were.
In real life, that was just a massive goof.
Oh, come on, Sloop, you know how wrestling works, you know how showbiz works, come on!
The Letterman thing, I had no idea.
The Letterman thing is, that, for those who don't know, the wrestler and comedian and part of the Kaufman's thing was kind of winding people up. He ends up having a huge wrestling match and breaks his neck and is wearing a neck brace. There's a great clip of the two of them.
Which wasn't real.
Well done. There's a great clip of the two of them on David Letterman, and if you watch it, you would think it was real. Lawler just gets up and just slaps Kaufman, and he falls out of his chair, and Kaufman storms off, then comes back and throws coffee on him and swears. And Letterman didn't know it was going to happen, and so Letterman is genuinely, well, I think you can say some of those words on TV, but what you can do is throw coffee on again, and it is so well played out by the three of them.
Well, the thing was, did you know that Kaufman had given Lawler a signal that he was going to throw the coffee and stuff? I mean, the thing is, what I was going to say to anyone that really enjoyed that Jim and Andy thing, on YouTube, there is actually, it's taken from a podcast, but like Lawler goes into detail about both Carey and Kaufman.
Yeah.
But the thing that really blew my mind after watching that film, Jim and Andy, did you know that Lawler was sacked from the film and was asked to come back?
Because he didn't get on with Jim Carrey. Yeah.
Yeah, and he says that Milos, the director, called him up. He'd been away for weeks and went, Jerry, I'm sorry, please come home.
He was, because he said, why is Jim Carrey being in character all the time? Kaufman wouldn't do that. He would go in a room and he'd start laughing and go, can you believe what happened? And he'd come out of character, and he said that Carrey was just being a dick, which is what I thought of him after watching that film.
I think, because Carey knew they were friends, but what Carey did, which changed my mind about the sort of end of the film, was recently, Lawler received a box and at his home address, and when he opened it, there was a letter from Jim Carrey, and it was basically vintage vinyl albums recorded by wrestlers through the 1950s and 60s.
Okay.
And he wrote him this beautiful letter and basically said, in other words, I'm sorry for everything that happened. It was an absolute honor to have worked with you and whatnot. And I thought it's sad that wasn't captured in that film. I know it was a documentary, but it kind of, when you hear something after the fact and you kind of go, okay, I see that in a different way,
Yeah, I do. By the way, I've been cleaning out, I've been alphabetizing my CDs, and I found a big stash of bootleg DVDs, including, I don't know, between 4 and 8 Andy Kaufman DVDs full of pretty much everything he ever did. Oh, my God.
I've got something juicy for you here, though.
Oh, yeah.
On that same piece, Kaufman recorded a load more promos at Lawler's house.
Yeah, I know. I've seen the film. I'm from Hollywood. There's a DVD called I'm from Hollywood, and it's all.
Have you seen them?
Yes, mate. The things where he's going, I'm gonna come to Memphis. I'm Memphis, Tennessee. I'm gonna come down to Memphis and kick your ass.
This is toilet roll and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I actually emailed Lawler on his website and I asked him because he said there's stuff that's never seen the light of day.
Oh.
And just randomly, I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna hit him on his website and say, look, is that ever gonna see the light of day or whatnot? Because apparently people were calling up and they were saying that they were gonna burn the television station down.
Yeah.
And it was just brilliant, like Kaufman got wrestling. It was just fantastic.
I'm going to end you here. We didn't do the quarter past break, did we? No. I'm going to end you here. Your mission is to get Jerry Lawler. Is Jerry Lawler still, he died? Is he still alive? He died?
No, he's still alive. Can I just say one thing? He has got the wickedest, he's an artist now. On his website, he's got a cool t-shirt of Kaufman. People need to get this. Be quiet.
Okay. Because I am now handing you a very important job.
Do this.
Get American wrestler Jerry Lawler on my radio show.
I'll do it.
That's what I like. That is the attitude I like. He won't get the number wrong. This is Talk Radio.
Take a trip into the alternate reality of late night radio.
I think I'm in something like the Matrix, and so are you.
The Late Night Alternative.
Hello.
With Iain Lee.
Is there anybody out there?
On Talk Radio.
Hello.
Just squeeze the spot on my arm. Beautiful. Catherine wouldn't do it. I did. You can email me and Catherine now, Iain@iainlee.com. IAIN@iainlee.com. They go to both of our phones, so please don't think for a second you're communicating directly with me.
Me.
Or Catherine. They're coming to, we both get them, they come to our phone, so, Iain@iainlee.com. Mainly if you've got work for us. But, Phil has emailed, Iain, I'm messaging as I listen via the podcast, as I'm usually in bed by the time you're on. But you were talking recently about documentaries you remember, and it sparked a memory of a documentary I saw years back, and I needed to write this before I forgot it again.
Oh.
I'm always doing that. I'm always having great ideas and things that I want to remember or watch or buy, and then I forget.
Got to run down then.
Now, I think it was, so if anyone, he doesn't say what this thing is called, so if anyone knows what this is called, this is why I'm doing this, okay? Get in touch, 0344 499 1000. Now, I think it was very early 2000s, and it was about a family of three, a couple with a daughter. The father of the three was the main focus, I remember. He had bought land on a tropical island somewhere, and he planned to turn it into a holiday resort. Does this ring any bells with you?
No.
I don't know this one. We then go with this guy as he ventures to get this off the ground. His ventures to get this off the ground either fall apart, fail, or hit a brick wall, and he slowly breaks completely down over the course of it. The staff he hires are terrible. He loses pretty much all his money, and at one point we even find out his wife is sleeping with one of the builders. It wasn't an easy watch, but certainly fascinating in just how raw it was. This sounds right up my Strasser.
That's not... I don't remember the builder part in this, but it's making me think of the Queen of Versailles, but that was 2012.
You know Bilderberg?
Yeah.
Are they the same people behind Build-A-Bear?
No.
Okay. Certain?
I'm pretty certain.
Bit of a coincidence, don't you think? It wasn't an easy watch, but certainly fascinating in just how raw it was. I can't remember what it was called and can't find anything online similar. But without spoiling it, the ending is heartbreaking. Can we put it to the listeners? Or by any chance did you see this? P.S. I'll tell you the ending if you want me to. Right, so I'm guessing the dad dies at the end. That's what I imagine from that. Does anyone know what that is? Because big fans of Paddington Green. I never got the rest of the series off of the scooter lady who I was talking, was Facebooking her. We became Facebook friends, and I was going to go round to her shop and get it. She sent me a flash drive with it on, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
And then I was going to go round to her shop and get it. What's her name? Claudia.
Begins with an A.
Let me have a look on Facebook, because she's a, Claudia Agius, yeah. Agius. In fact, come on my radio show. There we go. Just posted a thing on her thing. She's really very, very lovely and very helpful and absolutely batty. And so that was Paddington Green. But I don't know. I have no idea what this one. I would buy a box set of all of those. The one that I really liked that I can't remember and no one seems to know what it was, filmed in West Hampstead, and it was about several estate agents, and again that was early 2000s, late 90s maybe, and it was like estate agents being dicks, basically, loads of young kids being estate agents. And I used to go to West Hampstead for whatever reason, and I would see this estate agents, and a friend of mine said that's where they filmed. That was the main one, big glass window, and I can't find anything about it, and I would love to watch it again. I used to love all those. There was the good one as well about the couple that ran a double glazing firm, and it would often go into like a fantasy sequence where they'd suddenly be ballroom dancers and stuff. I used to love all of that.
Then, of course, you've got the lovely Sam Sparks, who used to work for Luton Police and was made famous by, what was it? Was it called Road Cops or something?
What's that? Who's Sam Sparks?
She's...
oh, yeah, I know Sam Sparks.
Of course you do.
All right. Steady. Don't say it like that. I'm a fan of the British Police Service.
Yeah.
Sam is a lady police.
She's a police officer.
Police lady. My favourite one of those was Series 1, so much so that my wife got them to send me a birthday card. It was two couples, two gay guys, all in their sort of 50s, 60s, and a man and a woman who wanted to buy a plot of land in Greece and build their holiday apartment, but it had to have a huge window. That was the thing, it had to have a huge window, and then eventually the straight couple pulled out of it, and it's just these two guys, gay guys. I used to love that. The first series of that was absolutely brilliant. The second series I bailed out of because it was obviously all set up, and like they had a lodger, and there were just like lots of shots of the main guy looking at I think they're called Brian and Roger, I think, looking at the lodger, and it was just so set up, and I was out. But the first series of that was absolutely joyous.
Then, of course, you've got Cruise. Made Jane McDonald's career.
Yeah. What was the one that made...
and then Airport, Jeremy Spake.
Jeremy Spake, who married a Brazilian model.
Gosh.
Yeah. I interviewed Spake once. He was on Rise. What a nice guy.
My friend Brett was briefly on that as well, because he used to be, he used to work for EasyJet.
I thought those ones were a little bit too pop.
Well.
For me. A little bit pop. I preferred to slightly...
What was the one about the Big Shop?
The Big Shop?
The Big Shop.
I've got all of that on...
no.
I've got
That's
all
the only
of that.
reason I've seen it. You lent it to me.
Did I lend it to you? The Big Shop is great. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. You'd be very, very welcome. Catherine Boyle, I feel that you've not yet earned your keep, young lady.
You're an outrage,
over
sir.
to you.
I've been peddling away over it. It's just I look graceful. Pedicure.
Hang on a minute. I'm so sorry.
Right, yeah, I've been scrabbling around.
Thank you. One thing, you are
like
a very
Mrs.
beautiful,
Overall.
fun, one of the funniest people I know. You're stunning. You're very, very talented. Graceful, you ain't.
No.
Graceful, you're not.
Mrs. Overall, got 2 suits. Pedicure trend sees women getting long fake toenails, but not everyone's a fan, right? So if you want to shape up for the summer, girls, I sometimes worry that we're going to... Pat Butcher is supposed to have been representative of the sort of woman who still dresses like she did when she was happy, right? So that was why she ended up looking kind of 80s during the 90s.
Know that. She was stuck in an Arrested Development.
Basically, yeah. Okay. And there's a lot of people like that, and it's always a worry that when you find something that works for you, you stick with it, even though things move on, right? And so you might end up looking dated. Fear not, I'm about to help you out. This is what we all need to be doing. I don't know how we're going to put our shoes on, but this pedicure trend is taken to Instagram. # long toenails will show you a number of photos of women's feet with bright and sparkly acrylic sets on all 10 of their toes, but like finger sets.
Oh, so like big old things.
You look like a monster. It sure is a strange sight, but it seems some people are really loving the look.
I don't understand it. My brain can't... Has she got 6 toes? Oh, it's 2 feet. That's 2 people together. That was what's confusing me.
So they're really, really long. So you imagine like a dragon's feet.
Do you know what? That works, actually.
No, it doesn't. That's
is
horrible.
Actually all right.
That's horrible.
But if imagine someone sucking that off, and then you swallow the toenail.
But imagine if they were real. Right, like sometimes you'll meet, for example, my Spanish friend's granddad and dad.
Okay, yeah.
I've got a a long nail on one of their hands for picking the Spanish guitar. Yeah. And it's just hideous. It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Well, you see, I used to have to cut my mum's toenails.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing.
Or, you know, in the Guinness Book of Records, there was an old Indian gentleman who had he had fingernails like Curly Watsits.
Right.
No, curly, like Quavers. It's a similar look, right?
By the way, Simon and Ms. Critchley, no, you're sending me a comedy series called The Estate Agents. This was definitely a fly-on-the-wall documentary. Okay, we may have a name for that other show. Go on.
Brilliant.
Sorry.
So as well as coloured nails, some are even taking things to a whole other level with French tip toenails. You know what French tip is? You know when women have
Is that when you come on a lady's
what? No.
Breast? Is that the French tip?
No.
I don't know it then, sorry.
But the French tip is when you draw on a white line at the top so it looks like you've got really, really clean nails.
It's kind of close.
The photos have racked up hundreds of likes each, with some branding the pedicures pretty and beautiful. Unsurprisingly, though, not everyone's a fan of the trend, because they're not all perverts. Others commenting, ooh, on the foot snap, saying it looks gross. Another person wrote on Facebook, this is unsettling. This wouldn't even fit in my sneakers. Someone else replied, this is just wrong. A third added, I'm going to throw up. Definitely no. There you go. There's your French tips.
Okay. It's weird, isn't it?
It's horrible.
It's a strange old thing.
How can you put shoes on? Disgusting.
Right, so I'm being told by A1 Kilt Hire, who are my favourite kilt hire place, that the TV show that the guy was emailing about was called No Going Back. It was an island in Nicaragua and was on Channel 4. But then when I go to YouTube and look for No Going Back, maybe there was a different series, because that one is set in Spain. Is Nicaragua in Spain?
No.
Right, hang on a minute. No Going Back. Nicaragua. Hang on a second. No, because this could be tomorrow in the green room when I'm supposed to be watching, bloody rubbish. No, there's No Going Back Crete, which shows Cox's moving to Crete. There's No Going Back Spain, but there's no. There's no Going Back Nicaragua that I can find. So if anyone could help, that would be awesome, because I want to watch that. Let's go to Steve. Good evening, Steve.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello, Steve.
Hello.
Hello, Steve. Can you hear me?
Stop messing around.
Oh, well, I'm not messing around. I'm waiting for you to say something.
Well, can't you hear me then?
Pardon?
Oh, stop it.
Someone now, A1 Kilt Hire is saying they removed the programme as it was so upsetting. The guy killed himself then. That must be what that is.
Blimey.
Well, if anyone knows... that sounds morbid, but I would... If anyone knows where I can get it from, I would like to see that. Let's go to Steve. Good evening, Steve.
Hello.
Hello,
Good
Steve.
evening.
Good evening. Welcome to the show, Steve. You're very welcome. You're very welcome to the show.
I doubt it. I was just wondering, Ian.
No, you're very... No, don't.
No, come on, man.
No, don't.
Honestly.
No, hang on.
Stop wearing short trousers and having arguments with your shoes.
Right, hang on a minute. You're welcome to the show. Why would you doubt that?
Oh, come on, Lee. Those teeth of yours, they need bloody filing down.
Sorry, what is this?
You sound nice.
What's a rude gentleman? But even though, Steve, I'm the bigger man. Yes, even though you've insulted me twice.
Yeah, you're 6'4", yeah, but you're boring. Why can't we have Wild Al Kelly on?
Because, mate, he's not... No one even knows who he is. He's not had a radio show for 20 years, you absolute pudding.
But you know he's much better than you.
He's one of the best. I used to phone him up.
Sits next to you, honestly.
Okie dokie. Thank you very much, Steve. You can aim it at me, but you can't. Don't aim it at anyone else. Anyway,
I would love to hear what he had to say.
No, I've got his number. We'll give him a little call tomorrow. We'll give Steve a little call tomorrow. Some of that was insulting. Don't wear shorts.
Well,
what?
It was insulting if you're 12.
Terrible. It's very, very peculiar. Tell you what we'll do is we'll leave Steve on the line, right? Steve's there. You still there, Steve?
Yes.
There we go. We'll leave Steve on the line, and if he can wait 20 minutes, right, on the line without hanging up, without disappearing, We'll let him speak at the end of the show, and we won't interrupt him. We'll let him do whatever it is he wants to do at the end of the show. You okay with it? He can be rude as long as he doesn't swear.
Cool then.
We will let him do that. You up for that, Steve? You up for that?
Well, Lee.
Okay. I think Steve is up for that. But we'll just... Steve, you up for that, buddy?
Yes.
Good lad. Okay, he said yes. So we'll come to Steve just before the end of the show. We'll give him a good crack of the whip. We'll let him say what he wants. But he has to earn that. Let's hear an advert for one of our colleagues. This is Talk Radio.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee. Unfiltered Night Talk with the original king of unconventional conversation on Talk Radio.
Steve raises an interesting point. Is generous. You still there, Steve?
Yes.
We'll come back to you. I promise you, before the end of the show, I promise you, you're going to get a fair old crack of the whip. I tell you what, I'll take this one straight to air. Let's go to hello line 2. You're on the wireless. Okay, thank you. Steve raises a.
Well, he said a thing. Yeah.
I don't want to say interesting because that would be unfair. What you don't remember Wild Al Kelly, do you? He was on Talk Radio. I remember phoning him, pretending I was playing the drums. I had cushions all over the floor. I would have been 21. So that's 25 years ago. That's a quarter of a century ago. He was alright. I always felt uncomfortable with the name Wild Al Kelly.
Why was he wild? Was he shouty or?
I just think he was a little bit crazy. He was around about the same time as sort of Nick Abbott was doing his thing, and he was on Talk, I guess it was Talk Radio then.
Was he American?
No. But I wonder where he went, because he was certainly, I honestly, I don't remember, I would listen to him a bit, I remember enjoying it. I don't remember if he was any good or not, but he must have been, because I listened, and I enjoyed it. So, I wonder where he's gone, if anyone knows.
It says on here, amazing how many people remembered Wild Al, considering he was only on the original Talk Radio for 3 weeks.
No, I don't believe that. No, I don't believe that. Do not believe that.
What does it say here?
Kath.
Yeah.
You know, some people, like, they really know what they're going to go and do, like, all their lives. Oh, I didn't, really. You've got to remember that despite our reputation, what people think, it's a difficult job. You've got to know your audience, really, haven't you? Pretty wide and varied bunch, actually. I mean, to be fair, there's even a chap in the Clapham office who went to state school.
They're a lovely bunch to manage. It's a good team. It's a sizable team. They're disciplined, they're motivated, but of course, I have to egg them on a fair amount, you know, because
No, that's not it. That's a fake.
Yeah, I was thinking that sounded constructed.
It's not. No, I got excited, and thank you. I keep calling you Ms. Critchley. I know it's not the name. No, it was definitely. It wasn't under offer. It was definitely a documentary, a fly on the wall. It was a fly on the wall documentary, wasn't it, Steve? There we go. It was. You got to be quick, buddy. It was a fly on the wall documentary. It was not a sitcom. It was not a sitcom. Caesar the Geezer, Nigel has been on this show. We've had him on as a guest.
Yeah.
We've had him on as a guest. We look back at our history, and we acknowledge it, and you know, we've had a lot of those people on. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. You got anything, Catherine Boyle?
Yeah,
Go on,
of course
then.
I have.
Oh, by the way, In Excess have toured with 4 different singers since Michael Hutchence. One of them was Terence Trent D'Arby. Now that I'd see.
Yeah, I thought he was great.
That I would see, because they did a TV show where they auditioned for a new Mick Hucknall, and that was lousy but fun to watch. Then with Terence Trent D'Arby, and then I was talking when I had my masseur Aidan come round. He's a big fan of Rod Stewart and the Faces, right? And he's massage, he's pounding away on my backside, and quite often I have to go to my happy place. And I said, didn't the Faces, Ronnie Wood, Kenny Jones, Ian McLagan, Rod Stewart, I said, didn't the Faces tour once with Mick Hucknall? And he went, no, I don't think so. I said, I am sure I remember the Faces touring with Mick Hucknall. He went, nah, I don't think they did. Anyway, I found some footage of Mick Hucknall touring with the Faces. It happened, and do you know what? It enough good, right? I don't like Mick Hucknall, but listen, can I just play you a little bit of the Faces with Mick Hucknall? This is from 2010, I think. So it's Ronnie Wood on guitar. It's quite a long intro, but I think it's worth it for the build-up to Hucknall's there. He's 10 years younger than all of them, right? And he's doing the rock. He's doing it. Recording, but he's good, isn't he?
I'd sit through that.
I'd sit through that. I thought it was brilliant. I was expecting it. I remember joking about it at the time. But because he's like 10, maybe even 15 years younger than the rest of them, he's like prowling around the stage like he owns it.
Listen, he was very popular in his time.
Yeah.
I'm going to say popular, I mean like sexually popular. Remember, he was like really successful.
That was good, wasn't it, Steve? Okay, you got to be quicker than that, buddy. Let's take a quick break. Then we got Nigel, we got Danny, and then we got Stuart. We got loads to do. This is Talk Radio.
Neon lit night talk for torch singers, trolley dollies, and train wrecks like me.
You never know just where the conversation will take you.
What I'm going to say sounds ridiculous.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Coming up before the end of the show, 15 minutes time before Paul Ross takes over, we got Steve who's phoned up. He's tried to have a little pop at me and Catherine. It was charming. And I said, look, tell you what, I don't want people to come on my show and have a go at me. If you want to, that's fine, actually, I don't mind. But I don't want people coming on and having a go at my mate. But.
I don't mind.
Are you sure? Okay, fine. It's very noble of you. But if he can wait on the line for 25 minutes till the end of the show, I'll let him have a nice full rant when he can do it. As long as he doesn't swear, he can do whatever he wants. And you're alright with that, aren't you, Steve?
Yes.
Okay, good lad, thank you. In the meantime, we've got our good friend Danny on the line. Good evening, Danny.
Oh, you too. Won't ask how you are, because you're busy.
Very busy. I'm very busy. He's too busy.
Yeah, it's good. I remember Wild Al Kelly. I was listening to him about the same time you were. He had a load of people convinced if you go out and have a look at the full moon, something was going to happen on it.
Was that him or was that Caesar?
I'm sure that was Wild.
I thought Caesar told us
late night.
I mean, there was talk of Caesar faking a suicide attempt from a caller. I thought that was a Caesar the Geezer thing.
Yeah, no, it could well have been. It was a long time ago.
Oh, sorry, if I pulled I didn't mean to pull your pants down and spank you live on air.
Oh, cheeky.
I didn't mean to do that. But, yeah, the late night phone-in, where nonsense and lies and theatre can, all kind of come together and heart and all of that, I mean, not the radio station, I mean as in actual heart. I don't want to blow our own trumpet. We're the only ones kind of doing it. There are a couple of other examples. I'm a big fan of Dotton on BBC London, where there is certainly a lot of heart there. He gives a lot of heart, but he also gets the same 8 callers every single night. Paul Ross's show is great, but that's not what it is. It's kind of a around the world in 4 hours kind of vibe. So there's no one...
Countries.
Say that again.
55 countries, can't be wrong.
I know it's insane, isn't it? It's ridiculous. Imagine. Here's the thing, though. If he'd have been doing that feature 20 years ago, they would have actually sent him to those countries. Because the radio had money. Remember when radio stations had enough money to have their own helicopters to do the flying eye
in
stuff?
The sky,
yeah.
Oh, the traffic reports.
Yeah, and you know.
Yeah, I used to work at a radio station where we had Captain Johnny in Thunderbird 1.
Shut up,
Seriously.
Captain Johnny.
Seriously.
Dear God.
Serving Greater Peterborough.
Serving Greater Peterborough.
I shall go now so you can speak to Nigel.
Danny, thank you very much indeed. That is appreciated. It's unfortunately it's Nigel in Temple Fortune. Good evening, Nigel.
That's a nice intro. Good evening.
People were expecting it to be Nigel from Maidstone. That's all I meant.
I know that's Danny. It's interesting talking about the history of talk radio.
I'll be the judge of that.
I remember when it was in Oxford Street all those years ago.
I believe so.
And
yeah.
there was another presenter who I can't remember his name. He was from Brighton. He did the weekend show. He was really, really good. Very effervescent, bubbly kind. Do you remember the guy I'm talking about?
I'd need a little bit more information. Nighttime guy.
No, daytime is really, really.
Oh, I never really listened to the daytime. It's always been nighttime for me. That's where the vibe is.
It is interesting. Of course, LBC, which is London's boring conversation.
Well done.
Has gone really, really down the pan.
They've gone bust. They closed. I heard they closed down.
Oh, it's just a doorway now with a notice to own on the door.
Exactly. That place is gone here's the thing. It's all cyclical. I hope I end my days here on Talk Radio. That would be the dream. Is me and Kath, we're here for another 20 years and then they get rid of us. But I'm a firm. All the places I've been sacked from, I'll probably end up back at some point. This business, everyone just shifts to the side a little bit.
I think the thing I like about Talk Radio is very independent in its thoughts and views, and I think that the programs are very progressive.
I don't know about that. I think it's my problem with Talk Radio is that it's quite right wing to the point where we'll do that thing tomorrow, Kath. To the point where if you hint at something vaguely left wing, I can kind of judge a radio station partly by its output and then partly looking at the Facebook page. And I know you shouldn't; it's not really fair. But the Talk Radio Facebook page is a cesspit, Nigel. It's a cesspit of free Tommy supporters, and it's absolutely an awful place to go. So yeah, Talk Radio is great. I love it. I would like a little bit more balance, but I love it, and we're allowed to do whatever we want on this show. So we got the time of our lives.
That's why it's a fun show. You see, it's interesting, isn't it?
Fun times, Nigel. Thank you very much. Do you agree it's fun, Steve?
No.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. I like Steve. I like having a little troll in a cage in the corner. He's going to get his. He's
so happy though, isn't he?
He is. He's going to get his chance to shine a bit. Go on. We were coming to a story, and then I interrupted you to talk about Mick Hucknall singing with the Faces. I don't know why.
Thousands pay for alien abduction insurance policies that offer an £8 million payout.
Oh, I've heard of this. Yeah, sensible.
The St. Lawrence Agency in Altamonte Springs, Florida, has seen interest surge after a Facebook page urging people to storm Area 51 went viral. More than 6,000 people have taken out these policies, each worth the equivalent of £8 million in compensation. The bizarre deal, provided by St. Lawrence Agency in Altamonte, promises clients cover for supernatural sites such as Area 51. It offers coverage for a one-off fee of $24.95, which is just £20 in our money.
Yep.
And then they'll mail you a paper copy of the certificate in a frame. Digital copies cost $19.95, that's £16. But there is one small catch in the small print. They will only pay $1 per year over a 10 to 20 million year period.
Yeah. Oh. I bought for my friend Andy, who ruined the end of season 4 or 5 of Lost. I can't remember now. It was important at the time. 0344 499 1000, by the way. I bought him, can you stop whistling, Paul Ross? For Christ, we can hear you through there, you absolute prune. He's saying that he naively thinks this £25 million studio is soundproofed.
We can hear him breathing.
You can hear every squeak out there, and he's just sat there.
Seriously,
whistling.
whistle back, Paul.
There you go. It's terrible. It's such a terrible studio. I bought him. What you did is you invested like $40 right, in this company, and then what they would do is they would take your 40. It was 50 or 100 or something. They would take your money, say $50. They'd take your $50 and they would invest it, right? So all these people were sending in their $50 and they would invest it, right? And you get a certificate.
Right.
Saying, my money's been invested in a time travel project.
Oh.
Yeah, this is great.
But surely you should know that.
No, how? It's not happened yet.
Can someone not come?
Let me explain, right? You invest the $50, right?
Yeah.
And their argument on their website was, if someone can find the website in the last 5 minutes of the show, do tweet it to me, because if not, I'll try and find it tomorrow, right? So their point was, we take all these dollars and we invest it, right? And at some point in the future, all this money will be worth trillions of dollars.
Right.
Okay. So then when we've got the trillions of dollars, we'll invest in time travel research, right? And also at that point, it'll be so far in the future, they'll be able to make perfect clones of people.
Right.
So what they do, right, is they invent time travel, they come back to at some point in your life, they say, come with us, we're going to take you to the future. You get in their time machine and they replace you with an identical clone, right? And then you travel to the future and you live a happy life and you probably live forever. Let me have a look. Time travel insurance bonds. Let's see if I can find it. Of course I'm not going to find it. If any time travel investment bonds, it's not going to find it. If anyone can find it for me in the dying moments of not just this show but my career, then please do. And I bought that for Andy, and I don't know. Here's the thing: you're not allowed. The clone is not allowed to say that they've been that they're the replacement.
Of course not. That's the whole point.
So Andy may have gone.
Yeah.
You just don't.
And if you ever ask him, he'll say, "Of course I haven't gone."
Yeah. You just don't know, do you, Steve?
No.
Coming to you soon. It's like having a little gimp. It's like having a little gimp in a cage. And I love it. Oh, we'll do that story tomorrow. You know, the story about I use the phrase here. I don't quite know what it means. I haven't read the full story. The special needs kid that was bullied at school, and he got the teacher got him to write. I'll just read the headline. We'll do it tomorrow because it's an incredible story. Teacher made bullied special needs pupil 11 write a list of reasons why his classmates disliked him, then turned it into a cartoon for the wall as part of the school's restorative justice policy. A bullied schoolboy with special needs I'll read it now, was forced to write down why he thought his classmates didn't like him, only to have it pinned on the wall for a year. Caden Powell, 11, told his parents, Damien and Lindy, he was being picked on, so they told his teachers they were worried. But the couple were horrified when he came home with a cartoon drawing of himself with the caption, "How can I get other children to like me?" Around the picture were speech bubbles with suggestions he claims his fellow pupils had given him in a group discussion, including, "Stop annoying us," "Stop shouting," and "He needs to not shout at you." This came just 4 months after Cain suffered the loss of his grandmother after a stretch in intensive care. Commenting on how upset he was, one of the suggestions said, "Be happy, not sad."
Flippin' heck.
Cain has traits of autism as a result of a condition called oppositional defiant disorder. The person who carried it out is a behaviour mentor, so should be very well trained on encouraging positive behaviour and not negatives. And the dad looks like, I've got to say this, who was the guy that got buried on EastEnders in the woods and escaped, and he had
the red-headed one, was it?
Yeah. Anyway, he looks exactly like him.
Blimey.
Who I met on Good Morning Britain once. It looks exactly like him. That's insane. Look at him.
He does.
He really, really does. Sorry, I'm not making light of the story at all. I wouldn't want to.
Oh, Steve.
Steve dropped
Cheeky
an
little monkey.
F-bomb. Steve. Got your number, mate. I'm going to be passing that one on. Good evening, Paul Ross.
Good evening, Steve. Do feel free to call me after 0344 499 1000.
You wanted to call you? Dropped an F-bomb.
Did he?
Oh,
yeah. Make sure you call me, Steve.
I'll tell you what I'll do.
Tell you what
Paul.
he is. He's a right old grumplepuss.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Paul. And I'll tell you, this is for you and for your producer, John. I'll leave him on the line for you. You can go to him whenever you want, alright? That would be my
If we need a quick expletive, he's happy to help.
My gift to you. What is on your
He was lovely, your guest earlier on, the comedian fella, wasn't it?
Bilal was absolutely charming. Everyone's so young these days. But he was, everyone's so young. They're born in the 90s.
They're all so young these days,
but, he was nice. I liked him a lot, and I was aware of him, and I just saw him pop up on Twitter a few times. I thought, do you know what? I like the sound of this guy. I'm going to get him in. So
and you were both so right about doing those office read-throughs for shows you know are never going to happen.
Oh, you must have done a ton of those.
Oh, I tell it,
it's soulish.
Unless the format's there already.
Yeah.
I know, we'll blue sky it, we'll workshop it.
There was so many of those. I must have done half a dozen of those, 2001 to about 2005, and half of them never got made, and half of them I turned on a year later, and Jimmy Carr was doing it.
I did one once I went to some weird rehearsal room over Q Way, and they paid good money for Alan Titchmarsh was there as a team captain.
Okay.
And that guy Marcus Brigstock was the other team captain. And it was a jokey gardening panel show for TV. And I'm thinking, this is never going to work. I mean, I've done some turkeys in my time, but that one had a lot of feathers.
I did one. This wasn't in an office, this was in like a small rehearsal room. I can't think where it was. It was me, and is it Amanda Bell? Helped Hewitt buy some naughty stuff.
Ding Dong Bell.
Ding Dong Bell. It was me and her hosting it, and it was called, it was so awful, but it was £500, and I needed it, to chav or chav not.
Oh, wow.
And so it was one team of like...
See, once they get the title, I think they've got the format.
Backwards. Simon London was a good producer, he was a great guy. And it was one team was, Jodie Marsh, and the lad
it's Knobs and Yobs, basically.
Yeah, the lad from E17, the poor lad.
Brian Harvey.
And then put Tim Posh, and it was all. It was horrible.
I may have bored you with my big one that I did before, which I would love to get a copy of.
Yeah.
It was for West Country Television, which is now defunct, and they found they had lots of wildlife footage. Have I told you this before?
No.
And so basically, they got me down there, and they dressed me in a kind of smart casual safari suit. Being the early 90s, I had a very short khaki short wearing dolly dealer with a pith helmet on.
Oh yeah.
And we had two teams. Each one had a professional naturalist on, and two members of the public. And we ran wildlife footage, and they had to make and I had questions about it, whatever. And as you scored, you moved up the tree of life.
Yeah.
Okay? But they'd obviously come up with a title, but you didn't evolve and win as a human being. The show was called From Amoebas to Zebras. So you started as an amoeba, a single-cell protozoic form of life, but you ended as a stripy horse. And the trophy they gave you, mocked up, was a little zebra on a plinth.
Right, we're out of time. Thank you. TimeTravelFund.com.
Where's
That's
Steve?
tomorrow's show. Steve is there. He's yours. Don't you worry. Thank you very much for your help. Thank you, Catherine. We are back tonight at 10. I'll see you on GMB tomorrow. Ta-ta.
We are Talk Radio.